This is a big moment in the Big South Conference Tournament. A trip to the finals on the line between the upstart, number 5 Charleston Southern, and the number 2 seed, USC Upstate, looking to clinch their ticket on Championship Saturday here in High Point, North Carolina. How the bracket unfolds, because things have taken a weird turn here in Day 3. Campbell comes from behind to eliminate Gardner-Webb. So here's how it slates out. Upstate or Charleston Southern, with a win, they're on to Saturday. With a loss, they play tonight, which means this is a huge game in the conference tournament.
It is. One of these teams looking at a doubleheader, essentially with an elimination game against Campbell. Charleston Southern playing so well right now, and Upstate, well, they're the favorite headed into this game, but who knows? That's what makes it fun.
Charleston Southern, what a unique ride in this conference tournament. 3 weeks ago, out of the playoff chase, and it's all because of the shortstop Nick Rodriguez having the week of his life.
Oh, he's absolutely on fire. He's the hitter that really ignites this offense. Every time he's up and runners are on base, he's bringing them home. Big RBI guy, and he's got this offense playing really, really well.
Maybe the most hyped dugout in the Big South tournament. Rodriguez has had 4 hits in this weekend. And then for USC Upstate, it's a team full of Noahs, but Noah Rabin's been the power producer.
Rabin is. When he goes, they go. Very similar to Rodriguez. You want runners on when this guy is at the plate, and this ball, no exception, takes the opportunity and pokes this one over the wall. Umpire's motion. It's a round tripper.
He was a first-team all-conference outfielder, and that's the power supplied in this ballpark. So the Charleston Southern offense under Coach Mark McMillan entered this tournament near the bottom 5 in scoring. Well, this week, the Sunbelt Reynolds starting attack, this offense has averaged 10 runs a game, with Hogan Mcintosh all-conference in the middle and Rodriguez taking over.
Those 2 key names obviously play a huge role, but 1 through 9, what an attack. It's constant, good at bat after good at bat, but Nick Rodriguez, 4 for 8 in the tournament, a home run. He's done a ton of damage in the middle of that order.
Like many of the demons Charleston Southern's overcome this year, the Buccaneers were swept by USC Upstate during the regular season. And now on the mound, one of the all-conference arms for USC Upstate, Jacob Curry, who had a complete game shutout the last time these teams met. How does he continue that today?
Well, I think it starts with taking a good look at that scouting report. What made you successful in that outing? Obviously, it's going to be a different team, but when times get tough, rely on what you do well. So I expect him to go with a very comfortable game plan that he can execute.
Curry was the ace of the season all year, Friday night starter, but he moves into Game 2 in this tournament, and that's what makes this matchup so interesting. Charleston Southern riding on bullpen arms today, USC Upstate at full strength. This team fields the ball really well, 960 fielding percentage, and you love what Collison and Sullivan can do up the middle.
It's a ton of fun up the middle. These guys make plays. They're very athletic, and I think it comes down to playing good defense behind Curry. This is an offense that if you allow runners to get on, they're going to smash. They're playing well. Take care of the baseball.
It's the game of where's Waldo, where's the Noahs on the field. They cover the whole ground for Coach Mike McGuire, a team that finished second in the regular season the last 2 years. Now a chance to get into the championship final, and that's a motivation for both these teams. It's been over a decade since either has made a conference tournament final.
Sometimes that's what it takes to ignite that fire. 2 teams looking to get over the hump, and what a great opportunity they have here. This is the winner's bracket game, 1 game away from getting into championship Saturday.
Alongside Cole Hallam, I'm Evan Budrovich for what should be a delightful afternoon. Winner is on to the championship. Loser has to play tonight against Campbell, which makes things really daunting if you don't come out on top today. And leading things off for the Buccaneers, Conor Carter, the left fielder, as we get underway. This will be the early test for Charleston Southern. The momentum, the energy of this dugout. You hear it in the very first batter. It has resulted in a 14-run win over High Point and then a 7-run output yesterday.
Hands down the most excited team in the tournament. Their energy is infectious, and in large part they've just been thriving off of it, willing themselves into good situations.
Charleston Southern, this offense was in the bottom 3rd in the league in scoring. Entering this tournament, well, things have changed. Izzio has 4 hits. Rodriguez with 4 hits. Even Conor Carter has scored 4 runs, so it's come from all over the order as Curry pounds in strike 2. Then you contrast it with what the Buccaneers have done this year. An offense that entered the tournament struggling mightily, known for batting average, 3rd in the league in batting average, but couldn't score those runs at a high rate. as Carter spoils the 1-2 out of play. And it's caught. What an effort by Cullison at third base.
That's incredible. I agreed with you. I thought it was into the seats down the left field line. Cullison gets a great jump on the baseball. And that's a lot of range for a third baseman to be able to go on over, sliding grab as he approaches the wall. It's a big out, number one.
USC Upstate plays in a ballpark in Spartanburg that reminds you of the Oakland Coliseum, one of the largest in college baseball. Big gaps, it plays long, and that's why Mike McGuire said his offense doesn't hit for power, but they know how to field the ball everywhere, which sort of reminds you here at Truist Point in High Point.
It's a great comparison. This field is huge. We have not seen a ton of power, but today it will play a touch smaller than we've seen in the last few days. The wind blowing out for the first time. It's a touch warmer than we've seen also.
So A.J. Sipkowski hits second in this order. And he blasts one out to left. This ball is a missile out of the ballpark. And there's the power shot for Charleston Southern.
What a start in a huge ballpark, a team that's hitting the ball so well. Sipkowski, big blast to left center.
The best offense in the Big South tournament taking the victory selfie.
That's the coolest celebration I've seen on a home run. The energy, you hear it already. This is a team that believes they belong, and with this big swing of the bat in the first inning, rightfully so, a no-doubter. Off the foul pole, halfway up. That foul pole, the American flag, as it heads out of the park.
Listen to the best celebration in college baseball. This team was shut out. 9 innings, 4 hits when they faced Curry back in April. Things have changed a whole bunch in the last month. Is this team now the team to beat in the Big South tournament?
I think they are. They're the most dangerous by far just because of the level of belief and excitement. They're playing their best baseball. They have to be the favorite, in my opinion.
Here's Austin Izzio, who's 3 for 10 in this Big South tournament. We've noted all week about the connection with his older brother, the pitching coach here at Charleston Southern. Well, then you combine the fact that he's contributed at the high level. 3 runs, 2 RBI. He's been crucial to this offense for CSU.
Oh, he's not there just because of a family relationship. This is a big impact bat right in the middle. I think the family relationship is awesome to be able to go through the grind of a college season with a family member. So cool, but an impact bat right in the middle.
His older brother, Anthony, is the pitching coach at Charleston Southern. And don't sleep on that staff. They've done a nice job the last 2 days as Austin skies one to left. Noah Raven's still moving back and to the warning track. Wow, that wind's blowing out today and balls might be flying.
It's a routine fly ball today. That's a ball that lands on the warning track. And what's more impressive is the middle of this order. Big swings. They're getting good looks at pitches up in the zone to drive. That one just missed by Izzio, but a scary swing nonetheless if you're on the mound and Curry.
Cole, here's your early vote for tournament MVP. Hogan Mcintosh. He has 5 hits and 5 RBI in this conference tournament. Doing it all for Charleston Southern. Now if you're Jacob Curry, that's a lot of barrels you've given up in the first inning. A home run, a couple of deep fly balls. How does he settle in?
At this point, the way Charleston Southern is swinging the bat, I think a starting pitcher just has to weather the storm. The first 4 innings, keep it under control. If you give up 2 or 3 runs, it's not the end of the world. But you cannot allow them to blow up into big numbers early because you hear that dugout, you hear the excitement. It starts to snowball as they get into the middle innings and start getting their swings off.
So Jacob Curry, he's a grad transfer from UNCG. Had Tommy John surgery last year. Got himself back to full health in the month of February and has taken over as the Friday night starter.
It's impressive to be able to come back from that kind of surgery. Oftentimes, the way that surgery is done now, you can make a full recovery velocity-wise, but the control, the small nuances of pitching are what takes a long time to come back, and to be able to come back and be inserted into a starting rotation is very impressive.
So he evens up the count. One thing Mike McGuire mentioned about McIntosh and Curry, the ability of Curry to be uber competitive. Now, Cole, that was part of your game as an all-conference slugger at Campbell. That competitive nature really plays come tournament time.
It does, especially as a starting pitcher. You're going to have your best stuff 1 out of every 10 or 15 starts.
Here's a base hit for McIntosh. Boy, the Buccaneers are barreling up everything, and it's the 6th hit of the tournament for Hogan Mcintosh.
Absolutely terrifying for a pitching staff in USC Upstate. This ball is barreled. Every ball this inning has seemingly been barreled. Yes, Izzio gets under it, but this ball by McIntosh is a backside missile down the right field line. It's an impressive piece of hitting from the big right-hander that hasn't missed very often so far in this tournament.
And then watch the synchronized celebration. This team knows what they're doing at Charleston Southern. It's doubles 97, 48 home runs, so more of a power-oriented offense. That has continued, averaging 10 runs a game in this region. So here's Ryan Waldschmidt, who's the all-freshman team outfielder. He hits 5th in this order. And you mentioned weathering the storm. I mean, this out would seem crucial if you're Jacob Curry.
You cannot afford to give up a crooked number. That dugout's going to continue getting louder.
And Curry skips it away. So that's the fuel, right? That's the motivation for Charleston Southern with a man at third.
It is. They're looking for anything to capitalize on, and that pitch right there is a yanked breaking ball. It's not even close from Curry, and I don't know that I blame him. When he's been over the zone, it's gotten hammered, and it's tough times to be a starting pitcher.
Damon Maynard behind the plate. He's only started 22 games, battling a back injury for most of the conference season. 4 different catchers have started for USC Upstate, and that role is going to be crucial today, especially guiding Curry through this runner at third jam. I tell you, the way Ryan Waldschmidt's swinging, CSU is not missing much.
They're not. They're seeing the baseball well is really the cue. Is the hitters are taking advantage on pitches in the zone. They're capitalizing on pitches up that they can do damage on.
So another runner in scoring position for Ryan Waldschmidt. And the hitter's count. It's called outside by Travis Godek, the home plate umpire. Just watching this Charleston Southern team, below 500 until the final weekend of the regular season. 13-11 in the Big South. And you can turn that record completely off come tournament time, because this team's playing well.
They are, and they're playing a completely different style of baseball than they played all year. This is a team that's entering into the tournament, and they're attacking. They attacked Campbell. Here they are in this one, already swinging the bats early. They're dictating the pace of the game against a number 2 seed USC Upstate.
Charleston Southern has never trailed in this conference tournament. 3 games in, and now a walk puts men at the corners. Think about the last 2 games. 7-0 on High Point in 2 innings, and then 5-1 over Campbell in the 4th. This is the formula for success.
They took off early, and I think a lot of coaches were worried about this, is which team on day one will grab that momentum. It's been Charleston Southern, and they haven't looked back. They attack everybody that steps in front of them.
And that is the challenge if you're Jacob Curry. How do you get outs against the aforementioned hottest hitter in this lineup, Nick Rodriguez? He was a defensive replacement all year, and Coach Mark McMillan told us, if I started Rodriguez, if you told me in February he'd start in May, I'd call you crazy. Well, Coach, you might be a bit crazy. Here's 4 hits for Rodriguez in the heart of this lineup. And he meant that more because Rodriguez's bat was struggling all year, hit below 200. You can throw out the numbers come tournament time because he's been red hot. 4 hits, 4 RBI in the tournament.
That's how baseball works. If you hang around long enough, you start seeing it well, you get an opportunity. You seize the moment and never look back.
In fact, 4 runs and 6 RBI in just 2 games for Nick Rodriguez. And now this gets away, so Maynard with the mishap, and another run for the Buccaneers. No selfies needed on that wild pitch.
They have more fun than anyone else in baseball. They have to. It's a ton of excitement. This pitch just gets away from Maynard, and that leads to another run.
I want to pump my arms up every time Charleston Southern scores. It literally is infectious, and that has to translate, right? Because This team had struggled all year. They won 6 of their last 7 to get into the tournament, and now look like the best team in the Big South.
I think they are at this point. They're in attack mode against Upstate, and sending a message in the top of the first could be the most vital thing you can do in this tournament. So often we've seen the team that scores first is coming out on top. And you know Curry, he could hear everything at this point being said and celebrated in that dugout.
Remember, Curry threw a complete game shutout when these teams met in the regular season. He's already surrendered 2 runs on 2 hits today. And Rodriguez skies one out to left. This is never an easy play. And it drops in. Wow, in the Bermuda Triangle. The Buccaneers are swimming to a 3-0 lead. Does that not tell you how nervous USC Upstate is?
It's just one of those things. When it rains, it pours. When the ball's not bouncing your way, nothing goes your way. This is the weakest hit ball of the weekend for Rodriguez, right down the line into the Bermuda Triangle. No man's land. Nobody can get there.
Oh, my gosh. Rabin just stared at Hamilton and nobody called for it.
Well, what happened is these teams have played in this ballpark the last 2 days when the wind's been blowing in. That's a ball I think Collison or Hamilton has a chance at. But with that wind pushing it out, it has to be Rabin coming in to call off his defenders. Nobody takes charge and the ball drops in.
So already a meeting, and this is not what USC Upstate wanted in the first inning.
Upset Central.
It had been since 2013, 8 years since a 5 seed made it to the conference finals. Charleston Southern's on a great track here through 3 games.
They are. It's still early. Their pitcher's going to have to go out there and put up a couple zeros in order to make this 3 stick against an Upstate team that's going to be chomping at the bit to push across a couple runs and jump back into this. But ideal starts in every single game for Charleston Southern.
What a challenge for USC Upstate, a club that was neck and neck with Campbell for the regular season title. 17-6-1 in the regular season. And this is what Mike McGuire and Kane Sweeney and this pitching staff and Adam Brown and this entire unit will have to overcome. Really find a way to navigate through this tight spot. So now Hayden Harris digs in, and he gets hit on the helmet. The double doink, first and second.
You can feel the pressure. At this point, if you're Curry, you have to be rattled. You have to be shook every time you're in the zone. Bad things have happened. Hits have dropped. And now you miss the strike zone by the better part of 3 to 4 feet.
I wonder how quickly the bullpen gets involved. Because this isn't an elimination game, but in some regards, it sort of is, right? Because you're playing the Sharks swimming in the blood-infested waters in Campbell tonight.
Minus winning the championship, this might be the most important game in the tournament for both of these teams. If you make it to tomorrow in the winner's bracket, you've bought yourself a game's worth of leeway. You've also preserved some very important arms going into championship Saturday. If you lose, by nature, of course, right, you get the 1 seed in Campbell waiting for you this evening.
And already action in the Upstate bullpen. This was not the plan written out by Mike McGuire as it's fouled off from Conor Aldridge. You can't lose a game in the first inning, but at the same time, you can win a game in the first inning.
We've seen it. Charleston Southern's done it. Sending the message, they buy themselves some leeway throughout the game. Now they have a 3-run cushion, but their offense is rolling.
So we noticed that arm was starting to warm up. Let's see if Curry can navigate this first inning. And in that start for Curry, when he dominated Charleston Southern, we noted the 4 hits allowed, right? So dominant on that end. But he also had 6 strikeouts to no walks. That control has not been there today.
It hasn't, and not the walk numbers, but the control has been big misses or misses over the heart of the plate that this offense has had a chance to tag, and they haven't missed.
That is called strike three. Good pitch by Curry. But it takes him 29 pitches to get through the first inning. What a challenge. It's the Buccaneers leading thanks to the home run ball in the first inning.
What a piece. Sends an absolute message, and why not? Let's take a selfie.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Big things are happening this year across the South, from the mountains to the coast. The fast are getting faster. The strong are getting stronger. And the best is getting better. Get ready to raise your expectations. Get ready for something big. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Big South Sports.
This Big South broadcast is brought to you in part by Hercules Tires, ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Ingles, low prices, love the savings. Sunbelt Rentals, we have equipment for that. And First Citizens Bank, forever first.
Well, did you see this coming in the first inning? Charleston Southern, a home run and 3 runs in. USC Upstate, who dominated the regular season matchup. 31-13 in 3 games, just straight domination. And now the Sunbelt Rentals starting lineup. This offense was clutch in a comeback win over Gardner-Webb yesterday. And Cole, it really features the Noahs in the heart of this order.
It does. 3 Noahs right in a row, absolutely looking to do damage. And today's feature, Noah Rabin, 2 for 4, solo home run. It's going to be a fun offense to watch, but they have their work cut out to them, chasing 3 already in just the bottom of the first inning.
4 hitters in this lineup, all 3 Noahs on the all-conference team, first or second. And now the challenge for this young starter, Chandler Woolridge. He's a junior from Florence Darlington Tech and has battled injuries all year. Just joined the rotation at the start of April. Now he's pitching in one of the biggest games of the year. This ball's blasted out to center. I tell you, with that wind blowing out, nothing is easy. And there's the first catch for Waldschmidt in center.
Waldschmidt having some minor issues with that one. He goes over as if it's going to die out. That ball is going to carry into the gap, and a good adjustment to get back there and make the snag.
So the last 2 days with the injury to Osman in right field, Sipkowski gets the start in right. And we've seen this defense. Aldridge and Rodriguez are locked down on the left side.
It's a great defense. This is also a very athletic defense in the outfield. So through and through, a team that's going to look to field the baseball and be aggressive.
Because Cole, Ingles keys coming in. We talked about for Charleston Southern, riding that momentum. Well, what a perfect start today.
They've rode the momentum about as well as possible. You jump out to a 3 spot in the top of the first. The only thing that could make it any better is putting up that goose egg in the bottom of the first inning. Go back on offense, continue to apply the pressure.
And the fundamentals for Upstate, how do they play more fundamentally sound?
Well, it's going to start with forcing weaker contact. It's tough to defend hard-hit baseball after hard-hit baseball, but if they are able to miss a couple barrels, just allow that defense to settle in and then produce some runs, move some runners around, and allow those big bats some time to come around and slug in the middle.
So Noah Myers, who was 1 for 4 yesterday, digs in. He had one of the 8 hits for the Spartans. And we talked about the first inning being important. Woolridge, he did pitch in the Upstate series. 3 innings, all scoreless. Easier said than done in this moment, but that's what Charleston Southern would love right now.
Great time to build on that scoreless streak. The stakes completely different, but further into season, his arm should be a little more comfortable. His body should be a little bit more built up, and he'll have a chance to go deeper if he's able to maintain that scoreless streak.
With that wind howling out to left field today, it could be a challenge for these pitchers. Woolridge gave up 5 home runs during the season and gets some nice help from Rodriguez, who's shortstop.
We've talked about it all weekend with Charleston Southern playing, but their defensive positioning, they always seem to be in the right place at the right time. That appeared to be a hit up the middle off the bat, but Rodriguez shifted over towards the second base bag. It's a routine play for the shortstop.
Nick Rodriguez is a great case study. The assistant coach, Damon Lesman, worked with him for hours after every practice. He was struggling to hit below 100 all year, and that offense is translated to excellent defense.
Baseball's one of those games where typically if you just can take care of one side of things and then on the other side hang around, especially when it's offensively, the more pitches you see, the more settled in you'll get. Great example.
Noah Rabin, part of the all-conference team, a first-team outfielder for USC Upstate. And he tests a windy afternoon here in High Point, North Carolina. We've noted the flags. You've seen balls fly out of the park. It has to be a pitcher's worst nightmare from your experiences pitching on the mound.
It is. Anytime a ball goes in the air, at times you can be sweating bullets. Today's going to be one of those days. We haven't seen it the last 2 days, so I expect the outfielders as well to struggle with their reads going back on the baseball. Today, both sides positioned significantly deeper than we've seen in past games, just understanding when that ball goes up, expect it to carry an extra 20, 25 feet at times.
That is call ball 3. And we've seen the outfielders. I mean, shoot, Carter's standing on the warning track in left field. You're giving up the single in exchange to not allow the home run today or the double.
You're also enabling your left fielder to become a little bit more comfortable. He's going to have to go back on a lot of fly balls today with that wind. So just go ahead, start him out deep and allow him to.
Look at that positioning. It's like facing Manny Ramirez in his prime.
You're only going to move in. An outfielder's best friend, only having to go one way. It's the ball over your head often that gives you problems.
And Rabin fights it off to extend this inning. Noah Rabin, when hitting with 2 outs, this is an odd stat for a 3-hole hitter, right? His average is 310 during the year. But with 2 outs, his average is 190. Such a weird dynamic.
It's a whole lot harder to hit with 2 outs. There's no leeway. You don't get the sacrifice fly. And oftentimes there's a lot of pressure with those runners on, but
so the walk extends the inning.
Able to work his way through that one.
What's the value of working this first inning out, especially when you trail 3-0?
The last thing you want right now if you're USC Upstate is a quick half inning. You want the hitters to have to stand out there on defense, think about something else, make a play, but you do not want a quick turnaround and go back to offense.
So here's the third Noah in this order. Noah Sullivan, and the true freshman, he's been really good, especially on the mound. We saw him pitch 6 innings yesterday, helping Upstate start 1-0 in this tournament. And we asked Mike McGuire, well, when you have a pitcher and a hitter working together, how do you manage his innings versus his at-bats? And Coach McGuire said, I need him in the lineup. I have to find a way to keep him in there.
He's not wrong. This is a huge bat, impact bat, and two-way guys typically just have to find a way to adjust. How are you going to manage the two? And typically one side will give. And if you're an everyday hitter, it means you're going to miss some pitching reps. So being able to get your mind right when your time comes on the mound, so important to have that mental transition.
It certainly helps when he led the team with 23 multi-hit games. Kind of hard to take him out of the lineup when he's hitting everything hard. And then you factor in he throws 6 2/3 innings yesterday. That sets up the rotation for the rest of the weekend.
It does, and you wonder, will it have an impact on how he feels today? Are you going to be a bit sore? Does it affect that arm on your swing? Or
did it affect you as a player?
It did. It did. When you throw, I was unfortunately had a ton of elbow injury, so every time I threw a baseball, the elbow got sore.
This pop-up should end the inning. And Waldschmidt has to cut off his friend there. Sipkowski says, you got it, young freshman, to end the inning. Scoreless first for Charleston Southern, and the hottest bats in the Big South come to the plate when we return here on ESPN+.
South Conference would like to thank our 2022 title sponsor of the Big South Baseball Championship, Ingles. Ingles Markets is a proud sponsor of Big South Athletics with everything you need to cheer your team to victory. From ice cold beverages to platters of amazing food.
I love the discussion about like your career and the two-way. People want to know that stuff.
And nobody else knows it because nobody did it. You have some sort of energy today.
Charleston Southern has a unique tradition. After every victory, head coach Mark McMillan hands out a T-shirt to honor the players who had the best performance, and the number signifies the wins on the tally for CSU. Well, win 24 today would be crucial for this program.
It would be. Just a few days ago, 22 was on the jersey. Not many people expected them to hang around and have a chance at 24, but this team with other ideas, the complete disruptor of the tournament, playing their best. And
who would have thought win 25 would send Charleston Southern to the NCAA tournament?
It's incredible. Play your best baseball. You get rewarded.
This is the CSU program that has never won a tournament title. Its last trip to the finals was in 2000, when many of these sophomores and juniors were just born. I mean, that's crazy, don't you think?
It is.
Granted, we were born in the 90s, so we can't act like it was that long ago, but nonetheless.
I just think it's neat. You have a team, like Campbell, everybody on the team, first team, all conference, but you have a team in Charleston Southern, doesn't necessarily have stats-wise what you would call the best guys when you look at the numbers at the end of the year.
There's two all-conference players for Charleston Southern.
They just might have the right guys, the guys that have come together, that blended as a unit. I think they just might be the right guys.
As Curry pounds in strike one. Because any insurance that Charleston Southern can add in this inning, of course the 3 early, but that just puts more pressure on USC Upstate.
It does. They came into this game obviously expecting to win. Both sides did, but that first punch is huge. Any jabs you can add on are going to be crucial, and just extending that lead. And for a good offense in USC Upstate, it just starts to look a little bit further away, and then you have less outs to get it done. Pressure starts to mount.
Especially when the behemoths of Campbell are licking their chops, right? They're waiting to see the loser of this game to play tonight. And the 3-1 is skied. This might stay in play. Buckner looks for it. Ooh, and he lost it in the sun. Whoa. Okay, so Buckner's pointing to his teammate at second base. I'm not sure what happened there.
It looked like a misplay originally. Could have ended up being a miscommunication. The sun is up top. You see all the players shielding their eyes from it.
But Buckner, he pulls away.
He bails out.
Yeah, so does McIntosh say something?
Must. He must have said something. Otherwise, Buckner doesn't just get out of there. He clears the room, and will that come back to haunt them?
And the way Sam Lowe's been hitting, 3 hits in this tournament, you just never know. That's a walk. How about that? Changes the whole equation.
It does. Curry does his job inducing the weak foul ball, fly ball down the right field line.
So, Cole, take me through that fly ball again, because priority is to the second baseman.
Correct.
And then the right fielder's coming in. So why does Buckner back away?
Buckner must have been called off. Typically the first baseman down the first base line will go for that ball. They're the closest to it, but they have the worst angle. More likely than not, McIntosh called him off. He's got a good angle, and then Myers out in right field has priority over all 3. I think the wind, having changed directions, threw all 3 of them a curveball and just not able to figure it out.
And now Chase Matheny starts to warm up in the Upstate bullpen. So one of the top arms is already warming. And we talk a lot about how pitching changes can signify the tone of a game. This tells me that Upstate is playing this game as if it's a do-or-die game.
You have to. It is. You put yourself in a position tomorrow where you have to get double-dipped if you win this game. It's huge. You have 2 games to win 1, but this potentially a really tough start to overcome.
So top of the order here for Charleston Southern. If I would have told you the number 5 seed would double up High Point 14-4, outbeat Campbell 7-6 in a slugfest, and then race ahead of USC Upstate, would have made a lot of money in Vegas this week.
You would have.
What explains it? How does this team come together in the span of 3 days?
That's all it takes. You just figure it out. And they're seeing the baseball better. That's the start, right? For them, it all starts with offense. That's how they are applying pressure to the other teams.
Whoa, and then bad throws really put some pressure.
But they apply that pressure, and then a couple things get self-inflicted from Upstate, and now Upstate has 0 momentum. And
we just saw the 6'7" Kevin Davis, the all-conference closer, go to the pen. I mean, that's double barrel of two great arms.
You got to find a way to get it done.
Carter wants to bunt. Just kidding. He wants to slash it through the hole. Little creativity, pushes low to third, and it's runners at the corners for Charleston Southern.
That's how you play offense. USC Upstate completely on their heels. Nothing they do is working the way they want, and the slash executed beautifully. This ball is stung right at Hamilton. He tries to make the backhand. Just able to get a bid on it, but the impressive base running from Lowe, who looks out into left center field and runs right in the face of Rabin and Hennessy.
And now Coach Mike McGuire is making a pitching change. So here we are in the second inning of the winner's bracket final, and the statement's been made. How about this move in the second inning? Chase Matheny comes out of the bullpen. We'll take the timeout because things have changed drastically here in the Big South tournament. Upstate to the bullpen here in the second. Give him the national title.
Spartans, number 25, Chase Matheny.
Well, Charleston Southern is forced to call to the bullpen. USC Upstate changing pitchers here in a 3-0 game. I tell you, this tournament has all the twists and turns. Just like our friends at Hercules Tires, the official tire of the Big South Conference, and for over 65 years providing those tires with an unbeatable quality and an unmatched value. So visit HerculesTires.com. And Hercules Tires invites you to ride on our strength. How about riding the roller coaster that's been this USC Upstate pitching staff today? Curry's out in the first inning. In comes Chase Matheny, who in 36 innings of work, he has 35 strikeouts, so pretty good in terms of punching hitters out. A little different challenge now entering in the second inning.
That's when the tournament becomes crazy. You start getting into situations where guys are not accustomed to who's going to react better, who can weather the storm and get the job done, because with first and third, a 3-0 lead in the top of the second, Charleston Southern clearly in the driver's seat, executing their offense and at risk of extending that lead even further.
We talk about bringing your own energy to a ballpark. Well, Charleston Southern, they've been bringing it all from day one. We saw the pump-up celebrations, the selfies after home runs. I know the gimmicks can be fun to a certain regard, but clearly it's bought on for Mark McMillan's team.
I was going to say, it doesn't appear to be a gimmick by any means. These guys are bought into it. They believe in it. They want to get hyped. They want to thrive off that energy. That's what it takes. You want to make a run. You have to love it. It has to be a passion. You have to be willing to do anything to complete the job. So far, that's been Charleston Southern.
So Matheny enters in a really odd spot. He had appeared in 9 straight games. His team had won all 9 of those outings. So Matheny is a high leverage arm. You could argue this is the biggest leveraged moment of the game.
It is. That they need a stopper. They need somebody to tide this thing over. It looks like some damage will be done here if a few at-bats can just be taken care of, do what's expected, but you need some zeros on that board to follow this frame if you're Upstate.
So A.J. Sipkowski, he digs in with runners of the corners. I was about to ask you, what if Sipkowski laid down a suicide squeeze? Or what if Mark McMillan just threw it all on the table and tried to score more runs?
I think you may have to plug your ears because it's going to get really, really loud. There's not a lot of things that excite a team like a squeeze bunt. It's louder than the home run. It's louder than everything else.
That's a powerful man, the Hartford Community College transfer. That time a little less enthusiastic swing.
That's the first time they've looked confused at the plate so far today.
And we noted with Zach Neto from Campbell, the All-American shortstop, that nodding of the head, right? Understanding the approach. Pretty clearly, Sapkowski knows what he wants to do.
He does. I always thought that was a unique deal when guys nod their heads. Is it fake confidence? Is it real confidence? You never know until you see the next pitch.
You always have to show up to the party with confidence. And now Charleston Southern, the number 5 seed, who was swept. Upstate humiliated CSU, outscored them by 25 runs in 3 games. A little different story today.
Completely different story, completely different time of the year, different stakes. Maybe Charleston Southern just needed the lights to be a little bit brighter.
Needed some brisket in the ballpark. That's what brought the life to Charleston Southern. They have now scored 24 runs in these first 3 games. What an output. And after the staring contest, the slider gets the strikeout.
And this goes from looking like almost a guaranteed run, first and third, nobody out, to they may have a chance to sneak out of this if Matheny can get himself a ground ball, possibly another strikeout. But this breaking ball for the punch out, absolutely huge.
We told you Matheny is strikeout per inning. This is his strength. If he can get out of this inning, this will change a lot for USC Upstate. Austin Izzio flew out to the warning track in his last time up. And this has been the story for CSU, hitting at the right time. Izzio had 4 home runs in conference play, started to show some potential in the middle of this order. And you pull up the lineup day 1 for Mark McMillan from this current lineup. All 9 hitters are in different spots in the order. I mean, that's incredible.
He talked about them gelling late, finding ways to get things done, and adjusting. They've all accepted their roles in this lineup. That's been the difference.
Then you factor in 14 runs in game 1. It clearly started to click. You beat Campbell yesterday 7-6. And now with a runner off, it's fouled out of play. The chance here to break this game open in the 2nd inning, checking a lot of boxes if you're Charleston Southern.
They've been very adaptable. They've been on time. It's a dynamic offense.
An offense that finished 3rd in the Big South in batting average, but struggled bottom 3rd in scoring. So it wasn't translating. Well, clearly this week it's been to a whole new level. Let's see what Chase Matheny has in store with men at the corners and 1 out. How about that? Thinking about a squeeze.
That's a good idea. I mean, you can slug, you can hit the big ball. That's a ton of fun, but there's a double play out there that's possible that also clears this inning and allows Upstate to get out of it. So the squeeze, not a bad idea to try to avoid that double play ball.
This is not a Charleston Southern team known for the small ball. One thing they are known for is the sacrifice fly. Top 20 in the country in the most sac flies. Let's see if that plays a factor here in this 2nd inning. Matheny on 2-1. Gives up a ground ball with the runner moving. That scores, and it's 4-0 on the RBI ground out.
And that's good coaching. You understand and you see how the at-bat is progressing with Izzio. He is a double play threat if he puts the ball on the ground. And in putting Carter in motion, they eliminate that run at second base. And this team's getting loud. Great job on the run. Just going to outrun the baseball. Only play at first.
Because you're right. If the runner's not moving from first,
Double
that could
play.
end the inning. And USC Upstate's been really good at turning the double play this year. So Hogan Mcintosh, the lone all-conference standout in this lineup. He hits with a chance to really make things interesting. Nice slider to start things out. What's the formula now for Upstate to keep these hitters off balance?
Mixing speeds, get ahead and mix speeds, but you cannot become predictable because they're jumping all over. So it's tough. Anytime you face a hot offense, you miss over the big part of the plate, bad things happen. But you just have to weather this storm. We talked about it early. It's an offense that is crushing everything. Get out of the 5th inning with 5 or less runs. I think you've done a decent job of slowing them down and allowing your offense to, maybe narrow that lead a bit.
In 2019, Campbell won the Big South tournament. They averaged 12 runs a game. Charleston Southern's on that pace. Typically, it's great pitching that wins a championship. This year might be the best bats to come out here with a title. That's the key word. It might. Here we are in the winner's bracket final. You win this, you're on a championship Saturday. As that strikeout ends the inning. Chase Matheny cleans things up in the second. Not before the Buccaneers add 1 run to their lead.
Whether it's the practice field or weight room, in class or on game day, we compete down here. We put in work, day in and day out, to take a step forward towards degrees, championships. Our goals, excellence on every level. More than 4,000 student athletes, one attitude. We are the Big South, where winners are made.
In sports,
we are used to an even playing field.
Unfortunately,
Off the field,
court,
track,
Closed.
not all people are treated fairly.
In the Big South Conference,
we commit to using our voices
To oppose injustices and inequalities.
Join us as we champion change
towards ensuring even playing fields
In and out of sports.
The Big South Conference,
We're allies.
we're advocates.
where winners are made.
Here's our score. Charleston Southern 4, USC Upstate nothing. Speaking of score, you know what rhymes with that? Big South Store. Let's talk about it. The best variety of officially licensed merchandise and conference and school branded items. Visit BigSouthStore.com. Gear up with some new apparel like those USC Upstate t-shirts. Get fully equipped for all your game day fun with BigSouthStore.com. Makes me think about going to a golf course right now, grabbing some Big South golf swag. Charleston Southern, the champions in the women's golf tournament. Gardner-Webb, the champions of the men's golf this year.
Some good golf down there, huh?
I know your eyes are on Augusta, Georgia. You're a big fan of.
I'll probably never make it on there, but
You and me could be on the waiting list.
They sure are.
Us and Mark McMillan and Mike McGuire. We could all join the list for a foursome. Get out there on the course one day. These coaches would love to keep their weekends going. Winner of this game on the championship Saturday. The loser plays tonight against Campbell. And if you're Justin Hare and his staff watching in the hotel or wherever they're at, you've seen a very interesting start. 4 runs for CSU. And Chandler Woolridge, who's only in his 4th start of his season, he's had to weather the storm and keep Upstate off the board. Ooh, yikes. That hits Troy Hamilton, so a leadoff man on.
through 2 innings, we've seen 2 batters hit in the head already.
Yeah, that's not a fun one, though.
Scary moments, but luckily the helmets are.
Where does this actually hit him? Ooh, no, the hands.
Did it get his hand?
I think he got the top of his
It
hand.
sounded like it got the brim of the helmet almost. I couldn't tell, but
Might have just nicked it away.
scary to see the pitches upstairs.
You know, you see in the softball game a lot of the cage face masks. Baseball players will use it on their front chin. Giancarlo Stanton.
The ball's smaller in baseball. It's tougher to follow, and those bars can actually limit your view of the spin. It looks a lot different. I doubt we ever
It's
see
harder
them.
to hit as is, what you're saying.
I'm saying nothing of the sort. I've tried to hit a softball pitcher before. It's a completely different challenge. The ball can actually move 4 ways, where in baseball typically it's only 2, and the pitcher's standing right on top of you. It's completely uncomfortable.
How about Oklahoma State last night? They beat Clemson 2-0. A chance for the Cowgirls to get back to the College World Series. That is a very orange matchup down in Stillwater. And the national favorites, Florida State, were upset last week. Think about Mississippi State going in there, winning 2 of 3, and now they host Arizona this weekend. You ever been to Starkville?
I have not.
Oh, it's quite an atmosphere down there. Campbell went for the NCAA Regionals in 21. They hand out barbecue and food to the opposing teams as well.
Well, it sounds like a place I would like.
Yeah, I was going to say, as an outfielder, you would enjoy that. And that's what all these teams want to accomplish. Win the Big South and move on to the NCAAs. Think about what Coastal Carolina did in 2016. Won the region in NC State. Then went to LSU and beat the Tigers in 2 games. Followed that up with a national championship.
I was able to see that team firsthand, and not a huge surprise if you watched them play that they were able to climb those hurdles. And
what made that team special? Because they did lose a couple of games in the Big South. They had 2 losses. Then to take that and win the national championship, how do you translate from this level to the next?
Well, just like we've seen from Charleston Southern, everybody in the lineup was hot. They were slugging the baseball, but that team was good at everything, and they gelled together so well. There was no weakness. That's what it takes.
It also takes an Izzio tandem, older and younger brother, Austin and Anthony Izzio, right there talking to the pitcher, Chandler Woolridge. This kind of has the feel of like a Thanksgiving dinner meeting where the one brother's heckling you, the other brother's giving you some advice, and you try to find the happy medium in the middle.
Pitching staff better watch what they say.
Are there like moles inside the staff?
Right,
What
you
you're
never-
saying? Yeah, who's going to report on who? With some of that fun of the Izzios.
The Izzios actually seem like a fun bunch. I'll take those guys on my team any day of the
I
week.
want the Izzio family in the booth today.
That's right.
Yeah, we can report back to you later in this one. Evan Budrovich and Cole Hallam with you for the winner's bracket final. You win, you're into championship Saturday. You lose, and you play Campbell tonight as Austin tries the hidden ball trick. Maybe that's what the meeting was about. Hey, listen, I have a great idea. We're going to fake a tag here, keep it in our back pocket, and see if we can pick off the runner in Troy Hamilton.
And if you want to hear outrage, that would stir it up.
There's a ground ball that just sneaks foul. We've seen a couple of drop pop flies today, and I wonder on a windy day with a turf that's known to be a bit more spongy, it has a bounce to it. Does that affect your approach as an infield?
It has to a little bit. You have to understand it's going to play slow. It's going to take big bounces. But just play your hops. The first 2, you should be able to get your read, understand where you need to be.
So Easton Cullison takes high for a 3-1 count. And this is where USC Upstate can be dangerous. You think of this offense during the regular season. Well, they were first in batting average, actually out-hit Campbell during the year. Second in hit by pitches, and second in doubles. More of a National League 1990s offense. They played the field and let their offense go to work.
Well, I have to bring it up. I mean, it worked pretty well at that point. It's going to work well now. It's just, it's a different approach, and it's unique throughout the country. So many different regions play different style of baseball. Different schools play different styles of baseball.
This is Pac-12 baseball in the Big South.
It is.
A team that's pitched it exceptionally well. Maybe not today, but during the regular season. And a team that does not hit a ball out of the ballpark. But they hit 100 doubles. I mean, you kind of get one or the other. As here's a stolen base and ball 4. So 2 quickly on for Mike McGuire's club.
This could be a huge inning for Upstate. You have to, I would think at this point, move the runners over, give yourself a chance to at least push 1 across, if not 2, cut this lead in half.
And you wonder, with Upstate already making a pitching change, how urgent will Mark McMillan warm up arms? He's already had a pitching meeting. Do you start speeding up the clock in the second inning? Because as quickly as you gain that momentum, you could lose it with one big swing from Cameron McIntosh.
You can. Last inning, smooth sailing. I didn't think, I guess, naively, that this was even a possibility to have a turnaround. They were having this conversation in the second. He looked great in the first, but it's postseason baseball.
And Woolridge in his last start was really good. 5 innings of 1-run ball against Longwood. That win knocked the Lancers out of the tournament and essentially clinched Charleston's spot in the tournament. It certainly helped when 1 day later they doubleheader swept Longwood to win 6 of 7 to end the year. And now McIntosh is in a good spot, up 2-0. An Upstate team that did not coast into the end of the season. 8 of their last 10 wins in the Big South. And then a tie against Asheville to close out their final home series. Because Campbell dominated the Big South with home runs, hit by pitches, and stolen bases. Upstate dominated by consistently outscoring and converting with runners on base.
There's different ways to do it. It doesn't matter how you win the ball game, but use the personnel you have to put yourself in a good position. And finally, Woolridge able to get the call. He's been absolutely pounding that outside corner. I thought he was going to earn that strike the pitch before. And what's interesting, 3-0, doesn't fold and throw one back over the middle of the plate, back on the black to go to a 3-1 count.
3-1 against Cameron McIntosh, who's 1 for 4 this week and fights the count full. McIntosh, a neat story. He was one of the first 2 players that Mike McGuire signed 3 years ago when he took over this program. A transfer from all the way out on the West Coast at Tacoma Community College outside of Seattle in Washington.
We see a lot of West Coast guys out in this part of the country. One, they want to come out here and play baseball because, in my opinion, baseball on this side of the country is a lot more fun. Less bunting from 3-hole hitters, more bombs, enough said. But the weather's warm, the baseball's good, and those guys tend to come over here and perform well in this conference.
When McGuire took over, Upstate was a 9 seed in this tournament. Charleston Southern actually knocked them out of the tournament in a play-in game back in 2019. 3 years later, they play for a trip to the finals. This is a really neat story. And now the bases are loaded with a walk.
No good time for a walk. This may be the worst time. First and second. No small ball being played, so you have a chance to pitch to that ground ball. You fall behind in the count, and Woolridge, although he climbs back in, not able to complete the comeback.
Well, I think we got our answer. Anthony Izzio making a pitching change in the second inning. Woolridge was great in the first, and now it looks like we're going to the bullpen. So we'll take the timeout as Charleston Southern brings in a fresh arm here in the second. Boy, Upstate could tie it with one swing. 4-0 here in the second.
Buccaneers, number 13, Jerry Couch.
Well, the old hit-by-pitch walk-walk never helped. New arm for Charleston Southern, but first, Ingles Markets is a proud sponsor of Big South Athletics. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way. Ingles, a proud sponsor of this tournament, and bullpens have been a proud sponsor of this game. Calls to the pen in the second inning for both teams as Chandler Woolridge, his day is done, and Jerry Couch, who was crucial in closing out the Campbell game just yesterday, now tries to get out of this jam in the second.
It's all hands on deck. That's what makes the tournament great. You never know what's going to be asked of you in a quick turnaround. It could be extended innings. We don't know who's going to be left for either team tonight, possibly, or tomorrow, but what does matter is that you come out of this one on top. We might see everybody this afternoon.
It begs the question. It seems that Campbell has a prolific advantage weighting their opponent as the loser of this game.
It's one way to look at it.
Or would you rather be in this game?
I'd rather be in this game 100%. You control your own destiny.
Even if you have to expend your bullpen to get there.
100%. If you're a baseball club, you don't think anybody on this planet is good enough to beat you twice consecutively. So if you...
Even after Upstate swept Charleston back in April.
Doesn't play. You're thinking right now, heck, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody can beat Charleston Southern consecutively the way they're playing. Campbell doesn't want them. I don't know that they want Upstate either, but you sure don't want Charleston Southern.
So Upstate with a great chance to equalize this game. Bases loaded, nobody out. And Damon Maynard, 8-9-1 in the Upstate order. These are the moments where a team can get great momentum or have it sucked out up from under you if Upstate can't score.
You have to capitalize. And right there, Couch going right back to that outside corner. It hasn't been there all day. I don't know that you're going to earn a ball off. You may get that call mid-season, possibly midweek, but not today. And you're right. One team will leave this situation with momentum. The other is going to be devastating.
Oh, what a stop. And now the runner heads home to the plate. So Upstate is back on the board. A wild pitch. Mcintosh couldn't secure it, and it's 4-1.
It's a brutal way to give up the first run. Bases loaded. Wild pitch as Mcintosh is crossed up by what appeared to be a spiked fastball there in the left-hander's batter's box. And I thought initially they were going to have a chance to knock it down, hold the runners.
To have it, and then it just slipped away from him.
Squirted away, and now it would actually be a shame if Upstate can't make this a one-run ball game by the time the inning's over. Ground ball to the right side.
Would you put a bunt in this situation if you're Damon Maynard?
I don't think so. I don't want to give an out away when they haven't earned one yet. A ground ball to the right side does it, and also gives you a chance to get another base runner with pitchers falling behind.
In a 3-0 count.
You don't want to bail them out of a bad situation.
Wow, right after Charleston Southern had scored a fourth run, and you thought, okay, maybe the Buccaneers are for real. The door's been opened for USC Upstate, who had to scratch and claw a 4-2 win over Gardner-Webb yesterday. Keep in mind, that team scored 3 runs, Upstate did, in the final 3 innings. They were out of it until late, and now the bases remain loaded.
Well, this is an opportunity that they could actually flip the script back onto Charleston Southern. Charleston Southern's been the aggressor in every game they've played in this tournament, starting out on the right foot, but now one swing of the bat, they'll be trailing in the bottom of the second when they were really in the driver's seat just 5-10 minutes ago.
Had a 4-0 lead with 2 runners on and could not add to the lead. And now Jack Hennessy, who has the best name in college baseball, he digs into the best spot. Bases loaded, nobody out. Cheers to the all-conference outfielder who's elite defensively. The bat has come along slowly, but he does have 16 RBI. And there are Spartans all over the bases. These are never easy rolls, right? If you're Jerry Couch, bases loaded. Essentially the walk. The wild pitch does one thing, but the walk brings in a run. Now you have to throw strikes, and it nearly hits him.
Anytime things tend to not go well in these situations, it's magnified because you understand there is no room for error. Yes, you're responsible for the runner on first, but essentially you're in charge of this game. You're responsible for all the runners to maintain a lead, continue what this pitching staff has done a great job of doing so far. And
oh boy, 3-1. I don't think Hennessy's going to swing the bat much this AB.
I don't know that I would. You know, essentially you're going to get back-to-back fastballs. If Couch is able to deliver a strike and go 3-2, it'll be a fastball again, more likely than not, 90% or better on a full count because the stakes are so high, no bases are open.
This inning alone, 3 walks in a hit batter. And now nowhere to put Jack Hennessy. How about that? Ball 4, and 2 runs have scored.
You see the frustration starting to boil over from Couch, frustrated with the call. Mcintosh asking, and Travis Godek behind home plate, giving the hand motion that ball's inside. And now Upstate back in this game without having to do anything at all. Gifted 2 runs.
No balls put in play in this inning.
And it's going to be more. It has to be more. There's no outs. This is your moment.
And there's a strike. It does not help if you're Charleston Southern that here comes the power in this order. Buckner, Myers, and Rabin have a combined 24 home runs.
How long can you?
And all have double-figure doubles. Oh, is that a balk? That is
not a balk. I think everybody thought it was.
Okay, the pitcher called time. And there's some confusion
Time
here.
was out.
Okay, time was called on the field before, because watch this.
Clearly a flinch. What would have been a balk had time not been called.
Instead, this should be the first out. Infield fly rule. And that changes everything.
Now you're
It'd be
ground
4
ball.
to 3.
It does. One, time being out, no balk. That moves up all runners 90 feet. But then you turn around, fly ball in the infield, bases are loaded. You're a ground ball away.
And Cole, to educate baseball fans, when you're set, any movement.
You cannot flinch unless you're initiating to home plate or you are initiating a step off of the rubber once you're engaged. So yes, that small flinch, that's exactly what umpires look for. It doesn't have to be a big moment. If a base runner could misperceive that movement as a possible delivery, the rules are tight, and at this stage, they will be called.
And that's why you saw a lot of confusion from the upstate bench as Noah Myers digs in. He has a team best 56 RBI. Games have emotional swings all over the place, but this inning alone could be drastic to decide who goes on to championship Saturday and who has to face Campbell later tonight. Three and 0.
I mean, how often do you look up at the scoreboard in a college baseball game? You see 2 runs on no hits and no errors.
And no balls out of the infield.
Nothing has happened. Nothing has taken place from upstate, and now on the verge of walking to push across another run.
At what point do you make a pitching change here if you're Anthony Izzio?
I think it's got to be soon. I thought the hook was a bit soon anyway, but.
Okay, so an intentional walk is issued. Yep, so the free pass is given. Okay, I don't know why you would do that on 3-0. I'm a little confused.
I'm absolutely baffled by that decision. Are you scared to throw a strike at that point? Is that what?
Or do you want a fresh count?
Number 17, Noah.
Okay, another question that is brought up wisely. Was that a delay of game warning?
I dearly hope so. Because I would hate to look at
now
one of my pitchers.
Now you have to have the first warning before the next one is a ball. The point is there's a pitching change coming. Because this inning has had a whole bunch of balls and not many strikes. You ever seen a 3-run rally where an opposing team did not have a hit? I mean, my gosh, this has been a busy inning. Cole, give fans an understanding. When a team's trailing 4-0, they have to manufacture runs. Well, Upstate did not put a ball out of the infield. Now they could take the lead with 1 swing or 1 walk.
They don't have to. They may not have to do anything. They haven't had to swing the bat so far this inning. If you get a 4-run lead in college baseball, I understand it's the postseason, things are different, but you should win the ball game.
You need to screenshot that score bug if you're watching at home and send it to college baseball Twitter accounts.
This is an all-time meltdown. You're not going to see that very often. 3 runs on no hits and no errors. That tells you
6 total walks and 5 in this inning.
It tells you one thing for sure. Arms are running low at this point in the tournament. It's well into tournament time, and it's all hands on deck, but you have to throw strikes.
Okay, so let's go back to the most recent at-bat. The count was 3-0. Okay, so then the pitcher establishes on the mound, and see, okay, that's not a free pass, I don't think.
I really hope it wasn't, because I would hate to look one of my pitchers in the eye and tell him I didn't trust his stuff.
Okay, so I believe a balk was called? Or was that the earlier run? Because I do see on the official stat sheet that the Myers walk was issued on a balk.
That could.
So a balk could be the ball. You just don't see that call very often.
And that I'm not familiar with. He didn't deliver.
Well, how about that? Okay, so we're going to show you this again because it is really confusing. Note Lindy Hall over there at third base, the umpire. So Lindy calls right away.
Yep.
So there could be a lot of reasons, actually, why this is called. But the withstanding point is Charleston Southern had to make a pitching change. So now John Senziak, who has thrown 14 innings all year, pitches in his biggest of the season. Cole, this is a win and go to championship final day, and an arm in John Senziak, who has 14 innings, is pitching here in the second.
It's all hands on deck. It's anybody that can come in and get outs, you will be given a chance at some point over the next 2 days.
There's a good breaking ball to Noah Rabin, who himself has tremendous power. This is where you have to be really careful because Upstate has not swung the bat all inning, and all Rabin has to do is find a gap. He's second in the Big South in RBI. He could do some major damage. Two and two. In danger of walking a sixth batter of the inning.
I think they're more frustrated that Upstate thinks that outside pitch is a strike. The last few pitchers have. I'm not sure I disagree with them. It's right there, maybe half a ball off, a ball that's quite often called in college baseball.
Line drive down the corner and fair. What a snag for one out. Make it two. What double play ball to get out of the inning.
And I think we might get another look at this. That is a close play at first base, but regardless, the heads-up awareness at third base.
This is getting challenged.
That's a heck of a play by Maynard either way.
I mean, for Aldridge to find that baseball, because I thought it was down the line for a double, and then to step and throw to first, I mean, there was a lot going on there.
I thought it was a hit off the bat. What a play.
Okay, so remember, the out was called on the field. And I think this replay, I mean, one could tie the game, two could get out of the inning. There's a lot going on here. Because, Cole, you talk about emotions going everywhere on that play. There was yelling from Upstate, screaming from Charleston, great defense from Aldridge at third, and then now we have a replay to figure this all out.
We'll see. I want to see the play at first one more time, but what a break this would be if they're able to escape the jam.
Okay, so clearly fair. That's the out there. I think he's safe at first base from that camera.
From that camera.
Mike Mazza with the call at first. And the umpires see the same angles we are watching. So for folks at home, this is exactly what the umpires are seeing. Because that looks to be safe to me.
But is that angle conclusive enough
right
to overturn a call on the field?
And that may be the best angle with all the runners on the bases and different camera responsibilities. I'm not sure who would have had the runner there. Okay, here's our answer. Great work by our ESPN Plus crew. Oh, it's just hard to tell. If you can piece together this angle with the home plate angle, you might have enough to call it safe? Question mark?
I don't think so. I think the call will stand. I haven't seen enough to overturn the call on the field, but a lot of that's just due to angle with all the traffic on the base paths.
It's like navigating the 405 in Los Angeles. I'm not sure where you go or how you figure this out, but you're going to be sitting in some traffic. Remember, the call on the field was out. And this could have a chance to tie the game or end the inning. And the call stands. Double play. How about that? So we somehow get out of that inning. Let's go to the third inning. Charleston Southern 4, Upstate 3 on a wacky double play. Baby. Welcome back to the Ingles Big South Championship. I mean, that inning alone was hard to digest. No hits for USC Upstate and 5 walks with a hit batter. And then a double play that ends the inning, keeps Charleston with all of that traffic still leading by 1.
It's unbelievable that this game's as close as it is. To throw, have a no-hitter thrown against you, still intact. I'll knock on wood for everybody involved, but a 4-3 ball game. I can't believe, to be honest, that Charleston Southern found a way to escape that inning with the lead.
And all of that means we sit in the third in a 1-run game. I mean, this game has had everything, and we're only 2 innings in. Okay, momentum is fickle, right? How does Chase Matheny build on this momentum? As he pounds in a pitch outside to Ryan Waldschmidt. Neither team is like the strike zone today of Travis Koda.
It's been interesting. The outer half hasn't been there. I mean, the black almost even hasn't been there on that outside corner. It's been a tight zone to say the least.
So that time it's a strike. And I think that's the biggest learning curve for these teams, is understanding the strike zone.
I'll argue with them. You know, I think it's been inconsistent. The outside corner has been there at times. It's not been there at times. This is late in the tournament. Let's open up that strike zone. Let's encourage hitting, because those are very hittable pitches. Half a ball off. I think that's got to be a strike.
If you're Adam Brown and his pitching staff, how do you manage arms today to try to navigate what is now a deficit? As that's lined through the right side for a base hit. Yeah, how does USC Upstate use its arms wisely? Because right now they're in task. Oh boy, another mistake by the shortstop Hamilton. And enough talking to the pitching. We're going to talk Charleston Southern here.
Well, heads up base running, seeing the ball get away, but an unforced error. This is a great piece of hitting. Fastball in the outside half and just out of the reach of Mcintosh. But this,
because as you fall asleep on the play,
this can't happen. Goes to block it. I don't know why
that's an
you make that throw.
E6 or E9?
E9. Should it be blocked by Hamilton? Absolutely. But to lob it in and then short hop your shortstop, ball gets away, can't happen.
So now the runner's at second for Nick Rodriguez. And I love this decision. Try a bunt, put a little small ball on, and test this Upstate defense. So Rodriguez with another double today, has 5 hits in this regional. I mean, you talk about a breakout star in Nick Rodriguez. He had 20 hits all year entering this tournament. And that stays down. Nice bunt. Boy, that was turf-aided, moving the runner up to third.
Sure was, but it does the job nonetheless. And only in tournament baseball do you see your hottest hitter lay down a bunt with a runner on second base and nobody out. But It's the pass the baton, pass the torch mentality, and
I don't like the idea of passing a torch. That seems dangerous. I like the baton.
either way.
So, this Charleston Southern club that has scored in every inning today, love to add to it here in the third with Hayden Harris, the all-conference DH. And he drills the first pitch off the body of Cullison, and everyone's safe. That defensive play saves a run, but it does extend the inning.
It was a miracle that Cullison was even able to knock that baseball down. Absolutely barreled at the third baseman right there. Not a lot of reaction time, and that's what they call it, the hot corner. The shortstop Hamilton actually coming in. I thought he was going to have a play at first, but wisely puts it in his pocket.
My friend Phil Constantino told me today, in minor league baseball, that is considered an error if it's within a step of your body, hit directly in front of you. Now, in the college game, a different story.
I disagree. That's wrong. I disagree with his opinion of that play because.
Well, that's the MLB rules, how they officiate errors and hits. It is ruled a hit in this situation. Actually, it's ruled an error. My apologies. How about this line drive into right field? Myers with the catch. The sac fly gets the job done, and it's a 5-3 lead. So the error extends the inning, and now Charleston adds to it.
That's a big piece right there, understanding the situation, find something to elevate, stay out of double play trouble, and the sac fly to right field, a great answer back from an absolutely terrible last half inning from Charleston Southern.
These teams are giving. They're passing the baton to each other with chances. 3 runs with no hits, and then 2 errors bring in a 5th run.
I mean, for a while there, it felt like neither team wanted to win or wanted to get too far ahead of the other.
The other team wanted to play Campbell tonight. I'm just not sure which one here in this winner's bracket final. The wind is playing a drastic factor in this park. We've seen 2 drop fly balls, a home run that should not have left the building, and it just kept drifting out into Truist Point. And now Sam Lowe, who walked and scored his first time up, he digs in. So how does Charleston Southern continue this hot start, right? Because yesterday it was, well, they scored 14 on Wednesday. Well, 7 more yesterday, and today looking like a 9 or 10 run day offensively.
Just continue to be aggressive. With people on base, good things can happen, and the way they're hitting the baseball, anytime somebody's on base, there's a danger of RBIs coming around.
How about this bunt attempt? Ooh, back pick to first, and just in time. Will Buckner call for the challenge? Because Buckner thinks he has him at first base. You be the judge at home.
He's safe. That left hand, it looks like it's in there just around the back of the bag.
How do you feel about the emotion from these two, Matheny and Buckner? Because it can go one of 2 ways, right?
I like fiery emotion. I dislike whiny emotion, and that to me looked like whiny emotion on a play where, in my opinion, Harris was clearly safe. But it does show you how important every little play is.
So now the 1-2. And a good battle here with Sam Lowe, the Littleton, Colorado product, hitting out of the 9 spot. What if I told you in a win and go to the championship final, both teams had to make pitching changes in the second inning? The teams have combined for 2, if not 3 errors, and one team hasn't posted a hit, yet trails by 2.
I tell you, it probably sounds like a lot of fun. We've been waiting for a game like this that just goes haywire early. Finally, we've got our money's worth with Charleston Southern and Upstate.
Definitely earning that ESPN Plus subscription today. Might have to get that Disney bundle, too, while you're at it.
Not a bad deal.
With Hulu? Yeah, $15 a month. Worth every penny here in the Big South Championships presented by Ingles. You win and you play tomorrow on ESPNU in Championship Saturday. You lose and you play tonight against Campbell in elimination fashion. Here's a line drive to short. And a nice scoop there by Hamilton to end the inning. But one more run for the Buccaneers. It's 5-3 as we go to the bottom half of the third.
There's not a secret to what actually happens behind the scenes at a bank. Here at First Citizens, we're trying to educate the client in each step of what's actually going to happen and actually have them make the educated decision around what steps and what options they utilize. We want to become that trusted advisor that actually guides them down that road, helping you reach your goals. That's Forever First.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive.
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Riddle me this. How do you score 3 runs without posting a hit?
Well, there's only one way to do it. Put the bat on your shoulder.
And wait for the opposing team to walk you. Charleston Southern with this hit batter. Woolridge then walked 1. He walked another. And then this forces the pitching change. And another walk brought in a run. And then how about this crazy moment on a 3-0 count? See, that had to be like the pitch clock delay, right?
I didn't see where he would have balked unless they said he was already engaged on the rubber when he stepped on, but there's no balk. The only thing that comes to mind is possibly a delay, but there wasn't necessarily a clear warning issued either on that piece of it.
Now, what John Senziak's been able to do, keeping Upstate off the board and working with a clean inning, this could be crucial. And the first pitch is fouled away. Noah Sullivan in this trio of Noahs. We were joking with Mike McGuire this week. Do you bring in the Noahs on the arc 2 by 2 and spread out the Noahs with their best talents? 3 all-conference Noahs in this order. And that actually hits Noah, so a man on to lead off this inning.
That one's going to hurt. You can tell the pain is, it's seen the arm almost going limp as Sullivan makes his way down to first base. Now, can Upstate win without a hit? I mean, you have to ask at this point,
think
right?
in Major League Baseball, it's happened a handful of times in Major League history. A team has been no hit and won, including the Pittsburgh Pirates lost a game. No, they beat the Reds getting no hit just this past month.
And at this point, you're looking at Upstate needing at least 6 runs on no hits. That might be a record.
I mean, 3 runs on no hits is hard to do. And Sullivan, he got plunked pretty hard.
That ball that gets you right on the elbow just sends the electricity down through the fingers, and
not the good kind of electricity.
The bad kind. It's tough to get over.
It's not what Charleston Southern plays, the Endor song, Pump It Up, after every run.
It's contagious, too.
When you pump it up and you just put your fingers in the air and you're flying them like you just don't care. It's pretty fun. You got to try it sometime. Next time Charleston scores. They have scored a ton in this tournament. Zap pop fly goes into the beautiful afternoon here in High Point. Troy Hamilton, he was the first man hit in that second inning rally. The Spartans have still hit 1 ball that left the infield. It was a fly out to shallow right, and that has been it. The more important part now, if you're Charleston Southern, everything self-inflicting has happened, right? And you still lead by 2 in the third inning.
That's what's incredible. It's gone as wrong as it could have. You give up 3 runs, but able to get another one. They add on to separate themselves with the 5-3 lead. It's by far and away not safe by any means in the bottom of the third, but able to hang on is a way to put it.
And if you hang on to win this game, you go to the championship final. So it really is a all-important contest. How about the job these two clubs have done? Upstate went 0-2 in last year's tournament, eliminated right away. Charleston Southern hasn't won a tournament game in 3 years, and now they look unbeatable, winning 2 straight to start this Big South tournament.
That's how quickly things can turn around for clubs. Upstate last year at times looking unbeatable, a favorite coming in. You don't play your best baseball, you get knocked down twice and you're out. Your season's over. So learn from that, come back, understand what it takes. And it's a lot of those guys that have been in this situation for Upstate passing along that message.
This is a slow chopper. Nice turn by Sam Lowe for the first out. Remember in 2021, USC Upstate won 37 games. That was a modern program record. And the team was one of the last 5 or 6 out of the NCAA tournament. This year's team, they're not going to make the tournament unless they win the title. And yet they sit with 36 wins. So right on the precipice of catching last year's team.
I thought last year's team was a little bit of a tough luck loser. They're really, really good. Pitching heavy, could really get it done, and not getting in.
And then Mason Miller went in the conference tournament. He went berserks with 13 strikeouts. Then you get the tough luck of facing Campbell in the elimination game, and Harrington and Chassis shut them down. Upstate this year has got a much better draw in the tournament, defeating Gardner-Webb this time, and now with a chance to win and keep this thing going. Good change-up there from John Senziak.
I mean, at this point, you feel like 5-3 is just the beginning, right? We might get into 13-11 type of ball game. I know Upstate's bats have to wake up, but with all the arms, I'm just waiting for the offense to explode.
Just keep waiting. Still searching for a first hit as Senziak gets the strikeout.
The flow of the game has been so weird.
Oh, did you see those aviators at shortstop, by the way?
The lifestyle glasses have come into the game, and this heat, just too much to catch up with. But I'm a fan of the lifestyle glasses coming into baseball, bringing a little bit of swag onto the field.
If you look good, you play good, as Deion Sanders once said, and that is the story of this Charleston Southern team. A club that was at the bottom of the barrel of the Big South. They were 8th in the conference heading into the final 2 weeks. Well, winning 5 of the last 6 conference games, got in the mix at 13-11, and have now taken advantage of this clean slate. Got to love baseball at times, right, Cole? It can change in a hurry. We've seen Charleston Southern give up no hits and yet could give up the lead with 1 pitch.
That's what makes it a great game. On top of that, it's untimed. We could be here for the next 7 hours if guys just decide not to get out, so it can turn on its head and be a pitcher's duel in the blink of an eye.
This ground ball should end the inning. Ooh, and a bang-bang play at first. Nice throw from Aldridge to end it. So through 3, we've seen everything imaginable. And it's a 5-3 game as we go to the 4th on ESPN+. Send those voodoo magic in the air with 7-hour games.
I'm trying to jinx it.
Jinx it the other way.
Yeah, reverse jinx. I could go for a Pepsi. What Cole likes.
There's some Pepsis in that fridge.
Pepsi. What color commentators like?
Ingles,
Rick?
Hercules Tires, Tyco, Walnuts, and Source One.
Go back to that. Oh. No, I left my binoculars in the other booth.
You blew it.
I'll go get it between one of the inning breaks.
I'm just kidding. It's not that important. You got a great view.
Welcome back to Truist Point here in High Point, North Carolina. What a great environment today. Time now for our Ingles game summary because, Pepsi. What fans like. Pepsi, a proud sponsor of the Big South Conference. You know what Pepsi likes and fans like? They like offense, and we've seen a lot of it today. 8 total runs between these teams.
It's been fun. 8 runs. One team has 5 hits. The other 0 on the board. I'm trying to speak it into existence to break up the no-hitter. I want the offensive explosion, but at what point will it happen?
I don't know what those kids like, but clearly they have the best seat in the house because it is an absolute party in the Buccaneers dugout between innings. This is a club that entered with all the momentum in the world, winning 6 of 7 in the conference. And sometimes that can be, it's the cute story, the 5 seed gets hot just to get into the tournament. Like, okay, well, that's going to end quickly. Well, it hasn't. And now Charleston Southern with a lead comes to the plate.
And for those kids sitting right by the dugout, I bet every single one of them saying, I can't wait to play college baseball. I hope Charleston Southern gives me a call when the time comes.
It's one thing to get called by the Ghostbusters, but to get called by Mark McMillan and this red-hot Buccaneer team.
I mean, that's a great form of recruiting, is it not? You put on a show, you have a ton of fun. What kid doesn't want to go play baseball for you?
McMillan told us this week there was fundraising efforts around the program to build a brand-new turf field. He was talking to some boosters, talking to his AD, Jeff Barber, and trying to raise, the money and get the things in the right direction. Well, a trip in this tournament could change everything for Charleston Southern baseball.
This is the most belief they've had in a long, long time, and not just on the team, but when you tune in, you feel like they're going to win the game. I know when I show up, I'm like, hey, man, I can't wait to watch Charleston Southern's offense. It's been contagious. It's been a ton of fun. So you know the excitement is starting to swirl around that program that's definitely headed in the right direction.
This ground ball is snagged at first. Good job by Buckner. And the opening out, retiring Conor Carter.
That was a nice play by Buckner, shifting over towards the 4-hole, able to keep that ball in front, but also,
by the way, for you baseball buffs, with the last name Buckner playing first base, I can't imagine what that young man goes through.
You pull him in the 9th? Too soon?
You definitely can't play a ball behind the bag. Not in Game 6 of a World Series, that's for sure.
Maybe a defensive replacement late, but for now, the defense at first base, excellent from Buckner.
No, Upstate can field it really well. Top 3rd in the Big South in fielding. That was Upstate's calling card last year. Jason Matthews, the all-conference shortstop from New Zealand. The Spartans had a .980 fielding percentage in 2021. Maybe not as stellar this year, but still a strength of USC Upstate.
Defense is one of the main 3 aspects of baseball. Typically, if you come into a game and you can win 2 of the 3, you're going to win the baseball game. So hitting, pitching, and defense, and I think it's safe to say they have the defensive side on lock. The hitting side, however, is going to have to wake up because the pitching on both sides, it's kind of a toss-up.
The pitching's not been great today, and I think both teams know that coming in because these teams want to field the ball like Oregon State, a .989 fielding percentage. And if you can play at that level like Pat Casey has built the Oregon State program, you can win at any level.
That's MLB level fielding at that point. You're making every single play, and must be fun to be a pitcher in front of those guys.
It does play on turf field as well up in Corvallis, Oregon. As this ball smoked out to left, and it one-hops the wall. That was a missile off the bat of A.J. Sipkowski, and he's in there with a double.
That's fun. Huge fan of second base celebrations, but this ball's absolutely roped to left field. Off the wall, if it doesn't take that awkward carom towards the line, Rabin may have a shot at him. It's hit so hard at second base, the turn and throw.
The storm surge.
It's a storm offensively. That's a great way to put it.
Because the Carolina Hurricanes have a similar celebration. Of course, these coastal Carolina areas, Charleston Southern, Raleigh, North Carolina, I appreciate it, especially in the hockey playoffs. The Hurricanes beat the Rangers last night. Tough loss for the New York Rangers. I tell you what, though, I'd buy a ticket to watch Charleston Southern baseball right now.
100%.
And I also buy a ticket to watch USC Upstate baseball. Visit BigSouthSports.com, the official online store of the Big South, and see what you can do there.
Now, here's the question for you. I'm thinking I would buy my ticket this morning.
Oh, true.
Stay for all 3. Does it work that way?
You're asking the wrong person.
Because that's a lot of bang for your buck as far as baseball goes.
That's 27 innings, yeah. I assume there's a way to get you in for an all-tournament pass.
That's a big deal.
Call my friend Mark Bryant at the Big South office, and he'll answer those questions. That pitch veers in for a strike. We talked to Commissioner Kyle Callander, Wednesday morning, and he did the site visit of this ballpark, was very pleased with how the setup was oriented, and it is made for a big league feel here at the home of the High Point Rockers in High Point, North Carolina. And certainly tomorrow for Championship Saturday, this place could be rocking with fans and atmosphere. As that base hit may help. Another knock for Austin Izzio, and it's 6-3 Charleston Southern. I tell you what, the storm surge is brewing, and the Buccaneers are hitting everything.
They're hitting absolutely everything. Ground balls are finding their way through. Fly balls are dropping, and on top of that, they're absolutely stinging the baseball. This one right back up the middle, and a great jump off the bat enables them to come around and score. And Izzio, hot, right in the middle of the lineup.
Little brother's having himself quite a week. His 5th hit of the tournament. And now this offense continues to swing it. Look at this bunt attempt by Hogan Mcintosh. What if I told you it's 6-3 and one team has 7 hits and the other has 0?
I'd probably find the nearest TV and tune in.
Here on ESPN Plus. Alongside Cole Hallam, the former All-American at Campbell, was an outfielder and pitcher. Evan Budrovich here. Accolades as the Los Angeles Cornhole Champion of 2015 in college.
You were.
I won a cornhole tournament. Yeah, it wasn't like a big deal, but for me it was.
I mean, you win a cornhole tournament.
It was the whole city of Los Angeles. You enter to play, and I won. I don't have a trophy like you did.
You should have brought that up a lot sooner. I mean, cornhole, it's like golf. It's a game you can play for your entire life.
I'm really good at cornhole.
You're in good shape.
Yeah, no, that's my one accolade. So McIntosh takes ball 3. We noted last inning how John Senziak had to weather the storm. It's the same challenge now for Chase Matheny.
And it's getting to the point where you're wondering, will anyone be able to do it?
So far, I'd say no, especially with this Charleston offense. The Buccaneers, 14 runs on Wednesday, 7 more yesterday, and 6 today. This team has scored 7 or more runs in 7 straight games.
Well, and the piece of it today especially that impresses me, 3 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and so far 1 in the fourth. They've scratched across at least a run in every frame they've come to the plate.
And that's strike 2 to load up the count. McIntosh, who like many in this park has wandered the zone of Travis Godek, works it full. Can Chase Matheny solve the riddle that is Charleston Southern's offense today? And I'd say not. Wait, that's ball 4, and the throw gets away. I don't know what Maynard's thinking there. It puts Ment first and third.
Well, you talked about USC Upstate having to clean it up. They have not been able to do so. 2 errors on the day. This is going to go down as a throwing error on the catcher, Maynard, but where the real error happens is mentally not realizing it's ball 4. Second base is going to be granted either way.
You can't make that mistake if you're USC Upstate. And now we'll see how Upstate handles this bullpen-wise, but the pitching coach, Adam Brown, makes his slow jot out to the mound. They need to time pitching coaches to see who gets to the mound fastest, have a little competition for it. Oh, no, Cole. You know what song just played?
I can hear it.
It's Endor's Pump It Up. And if any song fires up Charleston Southern, it's this song right here.
I mean, look at that dugout. All the hands in the air.
The crutches, too. That's what I love. I mean, look at this. How could you not fall in love with Charleston Southern baseball right now? A team that was under 500 in the conference until the last week of the year. Now a couple innings away from going to the finals tomorrow.
It would have surprised me. I don't think I would have accepted you telling me that a week ago. And now I don't think I'd accept you telling me anything different.
It's not as if this Charleston Southern team has a great record, 23-28, but they've won at the right time and have become an extremely dangerous team here in the tournament. So here's Ryan Waldschmidt with 2 on and 1 out. What is the best way to silence this emotion if you're USC Upstate?
Double play baseball. That's the only way. I think you need a 2-for-1 here with Waldschmidt at the plate. A ground ball, you'll be able to get him, and it will have to be hit firmly with the speed of this young bat, but you're running out of options.
That ball is cooked down the line. Ryan Waldschmidt, the reigning freshman of the week in the conference, final week of the regular season. So we earned freshman all-conference honors. That's the 4th straight year Charleston Southern's had a freshman on the all-freshman team.
That's coaching, that's transition, mental awareness, being able to bring young guys up to speed quickly.
So Al Hogan warming up in the Upstate bullpen. So Chase Matheny has pitched in these spots before. He averages 4 innings, a relief appearance, typically a long reliever for Coach McGuire. Now this outing, it's high leverage, it's stress-induced, error-filled, a little tougher than some of his other outings.
Significantly tougher. Once you get to this point, everything changes, and you need the help of your defense. Upstate, in large part, not been able to find it.
Here in High Point, North Carolina. This pop fly might score a run. Hennessy the catch, and tagging to score, but no! What a throw by Hennessy to gun down Izzio. You called for it, partner. Double play.
Unconventional way to do it, but great timing nonetheless. An absolute strike on the throw from Hennessy. Aggressive coaching.
And the perfect tag by Maynard slows down Charleston Southern.
Upstate. It's where global commerce and nature's beauty live in harmony. It's where the next generation of leaders is rising. It's $500 million to our economy each and every year. Perhaps most important, it's where lifelong bonds are forged. It's our time. It's our place. It's our pride. It's our university.
Academic excellence, experiential learning, NCAA Division I athletics, a spirited college experience. One place, Charleston, South Carolina. One very special college, Charleston Southern University, integrating faith in learning, leading, and serving. Visit charlestonsouthern.edu and get started today.
Welcome back to Truist Point. Get social with the Big South. Join the always growing network of fans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. You can also follow the conference source for game updates at Big South Game Day. Follow, watch, like, and share with the Big South. Checking all those phones to see Charleston Southern's RPI record, the song Pump It Up. A lot of reasons to keep your eye on social media today.
How many downloads do you think Pump It Up has garnered?
1, me, 2?
2.
2, Cole Howland?
At least 2. And there's
Producer Rick, 3. Maybe a few others. Even the interaction, though, that's great for college baseball. Seeing fans, that's Coach McMillan talking to kids in the middle of the game.
That's awesome.
I mean, in the most stressful week of a baseball season, and the head coach who's having himself a grand week for Charleston Southern baseball, it's fun to watch.
And we did hear from a couple coaches. We said, how is the stress going to play? And a few of them said, no stress. We get to play baseball.
Well, they all
this
say
week.
that.
So you don't buy it?
It might be a little coach speak. Now, when you're in championship Sunday or Saturday and you win today, I get it. But, man, for the teams to follow up on that expression and not just say it, that's a whole nother level. So Damon Maynard, who was walked his first time up. That's not a new saying in this game, by the way. 6 total walks and a hit batter for USC Upstate. Which begs the question, how does John Senziak throw strikes and get through this inning?
Strike one, best pitch in baseball. Once you get there, it really opens things up. Hitters start to get a little nervy. They'll chase, and you can buy yourself a little bit of leeway in a count. But the high miss like that, largely non-competitive as a hitter, you're going to take your eyes off of it early. And now back in a 2-1 count, it's aware to you that you don't want to miss over the plate and allow that first hit of the game. But I think you have to challenge hitters at this point.
Good fight here from Maynard, who called just last inning because that had a Buster Posey type moment in my brain. What a nice job of holding on to that ball and getting the double play at the plate.
For catchers, intimidating, right? You have a guy coming down the baseline, barreling full speed and able to hang on. That's the biggest play of the game for Upstate so far.
This ball's peppered out to center. And that time Waldschmidt battles the sun for the first down. You have to wonder what's going through the mind of that young man. Remember, he dropped a fly ball on Wednesday, and Austin, his right fielder, got injured in the tangle, but he seems to be able to shake that off and play well in the outfield.
You have to find a way to clear it. If you play outfield enough, at some point that will happen. Usually you hope it doesn't happen on the biggest stage in the conference tournament, but
I mean, think of that. Casey Asman, the all-defensive outfielder. He's the best right fielder for Charleston Southern. Goes out right away, and this team has not skipped a beat. Now there could be 2 quick outs. You know what? I'm not going to assume any easy fly ball as Aldridge snags it down.
But you mentioned them not skipping a beat. How much does it help the freshman Waldschmidt when you do make that error, but your team picks you right up? You don't have to necessarily pay the price for it. It's not your fault. You can't blame the injury on him. It's kind of a freak deal that it happens. But when your team picks you up and
especially
bails
those
you out,
non-contact injuries.
And that's what it was. It was just an awkward deal. You hope the best, and hopefully the turnaround is quick.
And Charleston Southern, since that injury in the 2nd inning on Wednesday, they have found confidence. Clearly, they have played above and beyond expectations. Picked 7th in the preseason poll in the Big South. Upstate was right up there with Campbell. 1 and 2 is the favorites in the league. And, whoa, well, not strike 2. I like that both teams have now sort of learned the strike zone behind the plate. It's an acquired taste, Travis Godek's strike zone, as he grants strike 2. Not that it's a bad strike zone. It's just different.
It's different, to say the least. I think.
Now, you're a former pitcher and a hitter, so I'm curious your perspective.
I think it needs to open up. It's getting a little slim. We're going to see tons of arms today, and I don't think at any point do you want it to become a walk fest. You want it to be an open zone, not anything crazy, but you want to see players swing the bat. You want to see a team win it.
Well, too late. There's 9 walks today.
Right, but you want to see a team win it with swings instead of lose it.
There's a swing by Buckner in the center. And Waldschmidt makes the catch. 3 up and 3 down for John Senziak as the Buccaneer offense comes to the plate when we return here from Truist Point on ESPN+. But only included the 6 teams that are in the tournament. Yeah. There's like no Radford or A&T or whatever. They just forgot A&T. Welcome back to the city of High Point, North Carolina. USC Upstate and Charleston Southern here in the Ingles Big South Championship. This is the winner's bracket final. So you win this game on to championship Saturday. You lose this game, and you play tonight against the Campbell team. Welcome back to High Point, North Carolina. If you win this game, you're on to championship Saturday and competing for a Big South title. You lose this game, and you have to prepare to face the number 1 seed Campbell tonight.
That's how quickly things can go well for you in this tournament and how quickly things can turn around to where this is a winner's bracket game. You've done everything you need to do to get to this point, but you lose this one, your tournament could be over come midnight tonight because I think there's going to be a few long ones in store.
Both of these teams, and we asked Mark McMillan and Coach Mike McGuire of Upstate, they both told us we weren't very good clubs in the middle of the year. These teams have taken big steps because with our Ingles Championship preview, you win and you move on. You lose and you play a late one tonight. It's a leadoff base hit for guess who? Nick Rodriguez. That's his 6th hit of the tournament, and it's a stand-up double.
It's contagious. I'm hooked. I'm hooked on the celebrations, and what team doesn't want Rodriguez leading off an inning for them, double down the right field line.
What if I told you Rodriguez had 3 doubles entering today and hit 2 of them in this game?
I wouldn't believe it.
A defensive replacement at shortstop who has now surged in the bottom of this order.
Really not a conversation starter in the regular season, I guess you would say, but he starts the conversation, in my opinion, for an all-tournament team bid.
No doubt. 2 doubles today for Nick Rodriguez. And we talked about insurance runs, building on a quick start. A run in the 2nd, a run in the 3rd, now in the 4th, and possibly the 5th. This is perfect if you're Charleston Southern.
If you can open up the first 5 innings scoring in every frame, I think any coach in the country takes that. But for an offense that wasn't widely thought of coming into this thing, man, they're the most dangerous I've seen.
Good piece there from Hayden Harris.
And the right idea there from Harris. A lot of people would look at that and say he's late, but he's trying to be late. If you're going to be allowed to swing with a runner on second base and nobody out, it has to be hit to the right side. You're looking for a ground ball that way or a deep fly ball to at least advance Rodriguez to third base with 1 out.
Especially with Matheny falling behind on the count. He's nearing 50 pitches. This is a reliever who has gone as far as 56 on the season. So you would think this might be the last inning or so for Matheny.
He's definitely nearing the end. He's done a great job since he's come in of slowing it down, but hasn't been able to stop the offense.
An offense that averages 9 runs a game in this Big South tournament because of swings like that. Cole, you've been on teams at Campbell that hit 100 home runs. You've been on teams that finished in the middle to the lower half of the league. Explain to me how a team can come together in 1 week and surge offensively.
It seemed that it was just one good offensive performance and a team that believed when you come into the tournament, you get a blank slate. If you buy into that, you feel you're a new team. They are a new team. They look nothing like what they did the entire regular season.
And Mark McMillan had a neat story about this, head coach for Charleston Southern. The Buccaneers played the end of 21 at Longwood. The team was out of the tournament race. A 3-game sweep against Longwood built confidence into the fall. This year, ended the regular season at guess who? Longwood for a 3-game series, hosted the Lancers, and won 3 straight to get into the tournament.
Well, if you do it once, you know you can do it twice. You know you're capable of playing that level of baseball and fighting their way in. Would they have it any other way?
That's why the Buccaneers finished 13-11 and earned a number 5 seed in the tournament. And you know the crazy part? Next year's Big South Championships, as of right now, 4 teams are in the tournament, which means this club would not even be in tournament play, and here they sit a few innings from the championship final.
They come in as a 5 seed today, Friday. They're the favorite in many opinions. I mean, obviously, I'll tell you, I'm in favor of the 6-team bracket, especially in baseball, where it's a little more open for anything to happen.
Where anyone, like a 5 seed, can get on a run. As here's the 2-2. Good battle here from Hayden Harris against Chase Matheny.
Thought Gardner-Webb, the 6 seed, came in. They made some noise.
They had a chance to beat Campbell earlier today, the number 1 seed. There was a moment where Gardner-Webb was leading Upstate yesterday, late in that game. It could have been 5 versus 6 in the winner's bracket final.
That's fun.
Where next year that might not exist. It's one of those fantasies out in the distance, the 2023 Ingles Big South Championship. And this ball will stay in the park. Chance to tag up here for Rodriguez, and he does. Hennessy's got a nice arm. Ooh, that bounce almost got away from Collison.
You got to be careful on this turf. It is bouncy, but this, a great at bat, fighting it off with 2 strikes just deep enough to allow Rodriguez to advance. And this throw, while close, you're exactly right, almost gets over the head of Collison over there, but able to make the grab. And now an opportunity for Aldridge to have a huge at bat, simplify. It looks like the infield is going to play in to try to cut this run off. This is when you want to hit early in the count, if possible, something elevated that you can drive. Don't give in, however, to the pitch down that there's nothing you can do but ground on the infield.
So with 1 out in this inning, let's see if Charleston Southern can add a big insurance round with Conor Aldridge. That's a good start. Fly ball into center. That drops down. How about that? A bloop base hit. The Buccaneers are up 4 on the timely knock from Conor Aldridge.
I've never seen anything like it. This is actually a really good pitch that ties up Aldridge. The job is done from the pitching staff, but the celebration continues as this weakly hit ball on that outfield playing so deep drops into no man's land. Picking up the RBI as Rodriguez comes in to score.
That's the 5th time Nick Rodriguez has scored in this Big South tournament. And this bottom 4 in the order, Rodriguez, Harris, Aldridge, and Lowe, were all non-starters the first month of the year. Here they are in the final month of the year, carrying this team offensively. It's almost hard to explain in this Ingles Big South Championships. But that's what it takes sometimes.
It takes what it takes when it gets to this point. I mean, honestly, it's.
I knew you were going to say that.
It takes whatever it takes. The team willing to pour that in is the team that will come out on top.
See that new T-shirt in the dugout, by the way? Hashtag TRE, some of the fundamentals in the Charleston Southern program. As this bunt is pretty well done. Chesting and a nice play for Chase Matheny. There's something special about this Charleston Southern team, and it's hard to explain. And I think that's the psychological challenge that Upstate faces. Because Upstate's a really good club. 17-6 in the regular year in the conference. And they've had no answers for hashtag TRE.
Well, you hear the saying postseason magic. That's almost what it feels like. Everything that can go right is for Charleston Southern. When they hit the ball hard, of course it drops. But when they don't, it's falling in. It's finding ways to be productive. And when you string together good at-bats, you believe. I guess the ball bounces your way sometimes. We're seeing everything favoring Charleston Southern, and rightfully so with what they're putting into it.
And now with 2 outs, Conor Carter could continue this hot start. I love bringing in nuggets, Cole, to educate you on this broadcast. Charleston Southern, in 3 games against Upstate this year, scored 13 runs. They've done half of that in essentially half a game.
Half a game, exactly right. They're far from done. They could match a 3-game total in 1 9-inning set.
And that's why come tournament time, it's if you get hot, as this ground ball sneaks through, and Charleston Southern with an 8 spot on the clutch double by, how about this, Conor Carter getting it done.
What a swing by Carter. I think we're running out of descriptors. Hot just isn't keeping up anymore. They're on fire. I don't know how to describe it. This offense isn't missing. This ball stung right down the line, and another double on the books for Charleston Southern.
The storm surge is brewing here in High Point, North Carolina.
I don't know about you, but I'm not itching to go in and pitch against this offense.
Boom goes the dynamite.
It's been a big boom so far.
Now, if you're Chase Matheny, and if you're USC Upstate, right, this is the whole pitching staff. Every inning, Charleston Southern's had runners on, now 10 hits. This is a hard offense to stop.
And usually I'll sit here and speculate on how to stop it. From what I see, usually there's holes in the swing, holes in the approach, or things that an offense doesn't do well, but I truly don't know how you slow it down. They hit early in the count, they hit late in the count, they're patient outside of the zone, they do everything right.
And this was after the pitching staff allowed 3 runs without giving up a hit. To have that type of resolve, incredible. USC Upstate that had to crawl from behind yesterday, a 4-2 win over Gardner-Webb. This is a different task. It goes from climbing the local mountain in Asheville to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. This is now a new career high in pitches for Chase Matheny, by the way, which goes to show that Upstate will try to extend arms as long as they can. And at what point do you manipulate who you throw and who you don't if you're Mike McGuire?
I think you play to win this one. You have to find a way to get into tomorrow without playing tonight, and they still do have a little bit of an advantage not having to play on day one. They get the bye. You have to preserve that advantage, because if you go into tonight, you're going to expend even more arms than you would trying to get through this one, and then you're talking about having the benefit of having to be defeated twice to tomorrow. That's the game you're striving for.
Let's see if Matheny can escape this jam. That's a good breaking ball for strike 2. An Upstate pitching staff that during the regular season, now take this with a grain of salt, right? Regular season. Second best ERA, second in WHIP, and second fewest hits allowed in the conference.
How quickly things change.
A little different story here in the winner's bracket final of the Ingles Big South Championships. Number 5, Charleston Southern, up by 5 in the 5th. And there's a strikeout to end the inning. So Matheny stops the bleeding. Not before 2 more runs for the storm surge of the Big South Conference. Number 5, Charleston Southern, cruising.
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the right way to film it is in slow motion. Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the right way to film it is in slow motion. Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Well, between innings, Mike McGuire rallied his team together, challenged them to play much better baseball. The Spartans have yet to hit a ball for a base hit today, and now trailing by 5.
It's not been good so far. I think everyone in that dugout knows they're playing below expectation, but it's far from over. A lot of baseball left, only in the bottom of the 5th, and time to turn it around, but it has to start at this point with a hit and then a 0 when Charleston Southern is at bat, because every time they come up, they're putting runs on the board, and now look, they've chipped away, built themselves a 5-run lead. in the middle innings.
And then contrast it with the bounce house of the Big South Conference, Charleston Southern. It's an electric factory over there. The Buccaneers know when the cameras are shining bright. Caleb Hill with the best aviators in the business there. See him on the far left.
Those are sweet. There's a few pairs of sweet shades I've seen in that dugout.
So Noah Myers will try to quiet this momentum for Charleston Southern. And let's give a lot of credit to John Senziak. Only 14 innings entering this tournament, and he has quieted things down for CSU. There's a lot of unheralded heroes that can get on a hot streak and, make a run for a pitching staff. And I did not have the name John Senziak very high into my notes of pitchers that could get things done.
We've been corrected because he came in ready to throw 2 2/3 innings. 1K, but he's been in the strike zone, been a huge piece of coming in and shutting down, continuing to shut down Upstate, really riding the ship after a lot of the free passes were issued early in this game.
And Senziak's a really neat story. He's a grad student, 3rd year with Charleston Southern, but started his career in Spartanburg, South Carolina. He played for Spartanburg Methodist College, right in the footsteps of Upstate and Wofford. And now he has a chance to beat USC Upstate. Look at Rodriguez covering so much ground to make the play.
He starts the conversation for me. That shortstop has been a difference maker, making every play, positioned so well, shifted up the middle and ranging glove side, showing off a bit of range. And a great throw to finish off the play.
Left fielder, number 17, Noah.
It's offense. It's, quality starting pitching. And then great defense. That's been the formula. It's infectious if you're Charleston Southern. Ooh, here's a fly ball out to center. Waldschmidt retreating, looking to the wall, and he's got it! What a fantastic effort by Waldschmidt.
That's an incredible play from a guy that has looked uncomfortable at times. He's young, first conference tournament, but ranging back on the ball, straight over his head, that's hit a ton. Wind blowing out, and look at him just fight it the whole way, fights it, hangs with it as he barrels into the 400 sign, and that's a huge catch.
Back-to-back great plays by Charleston Southern. Okay, Cole, put all the names into the hat. Who are you calling for next year with 2 outs as Noah Sullivan digs in?
I'm not sure.
Guess we'll find out during this at-bat. It is worth noting John Senziak has now thrown 3 1/3 scoreless after the previous 2 pitchers walked 6 batters in an inning.
It's a simple method, throw strikes.
Okay, whose turn is it? Oh, you guessed it. Ryan Waldschmidt having himself an afternoon in center field. Charleston Southern, through 5 innings, has made a statement here in the Ingles Big South Championships, leading 8-3. Welcome back to Truist Point here in High Point, North Carolina. Ingles Big South Championships. For the best in the Big South, visit BigSouthSports.com. Stay current with the latest news, results, stats, standings, and much more. Visit our social media outlets all from one place. The source for all your conference info, BigSouthSports.com. This is an infectious start for Charleston Southern. There's head coach Mark McMillan, and his team is playing bonkers right now. And this is hard to fathom for a club that was under 500 entering the final 2 weeks and now are 5 innings away from a conference finals appearance.
It's a different club. It's a coaching staff that knew they had a chance coming in, prepared their team as well as possible. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's a team that wants it more than anybody else that's stepped across the field from them. It's a coaching staff that prepared better than any coaching staff that stepped across from them so far. They just really, they look the part.
Which if you had the odds or the poll straws, right, of who's going to make a run in this tournament, I don't think Charleston Southern was very high on that list.
I'll throw myself under the bus. I picked Campbell and Upstate, said they were a tier above everybody else, and it would be an upset if either one of them even lost a game. I couldn't have been more wrong.
And it's one team doing the damage. Charleston Southern beating Campbell yesterday,
right,
7-6, and now leading Upstate.
They must not have been very fond of my comments, rightfully so, and I'll happily jump in my place on this one. They've been a ton of fun to watch, and the Cinderella story is being written.
So Austin Izzio starts off the 6th for the Buccaneers. This is a good pitch. These are important innings for Chase Matheny because unless Upstate gets a hit in this game, they're not going to score 5 more runs, which means Upstate might start mentally preparing to play Campbell tonight. Unless they can finally stop this storm surge that's Charleston Southern.
It's far from too late, but at the same time, they're hitless through 5.
You said it, not me. That's a knock on the wood if you didn't notice. There's a strikeout on pitch 70 from Matheny to start the 6th inning.
Finally, maybe is this the inning they're able to put up a 0?
Because the Buccaneers have scored in every inning, and any stop in this momentum would have to be drastic for USC Upstate.
A 0 would be huge. It seems simple. This is a great breaking ball, but it doesn't seem they've put away the leadoff hitter very often. There's been a threat on base every inning, oftentimes coming around to score.
We talk a lot about baseball where momentum from one team can cripple another. USC Upstate has an offense that's designed to win in the tournament. Hit doubles, get on base, produce runners on. And they've had no answer for a Charleston Southern offense. Not the pitching, but the offense.
It's incredible. I wonder, I mean, this is huge, right? There's games you lose and you look back at and you're like, well, the ball didn't go our way, or, you know, tough break here, tough break there. There's been no tough breaks. There's been
Upstate's hitless in this game.
There's been a whooping that's taken place over the course of 5 innings. But if they get no hit and this continues, how do you come back and prepare for a follow-up game? And do you want to prepare for a follow-up game? Because from what I've seen,
yeah, you're right. There's a mental tax that they're playing right now.
And they're not seeing the baseball well. As a hitter, usually that doesn't turn around in the same day. It's usually a day, 2-day adjustment, not a game and then a second game where you just start to see it better. I mean,
which means if Campbell and or Charleston Southern, right, has this big start against Upstate, that could be debilitating.
Oh, it could. You're right back where you left off.
Guess what? Another base hit. McIntosh into the gap. And watch out for the storm surge. It's another double for McIntosh, his 2nd of the day.
A little more casual there. Everybody's got their own little style for it at second base. And when you hit a bunch of doubles, I guess it's pretty neat. We get to see how everybody likes to throw that celebration out there as
that's his
the
10th
attack
double
continues.
of the year. And his 10th storm surge. I love it. Okay, so Mike McGuire heads out, and a pitching change is in store. We noted Chase Matheny eating up a ton of innings. That's always important. Doesn't look very pleased with the call to the pin. So we'll take the timeout with a new pitcher entering for USC Upstate. It's Al Hogan. And we'll talk about Mr. Al when we come back on ESPN+. Welcome back to Truist Point here in High Point, North Carolina. New pitcher for USC Upstate, Al Hogan. He'll be asked to, I don't know the right adjective we've used a lot today, stop the bleeding, slow down the locomotive. Now he has to just find a way to get some outs here against Charleston Southern.
I don't know the method. Best of luck to Mr. Hogan on this one. It's a tough task, but maybe an arm that's up to it, a great ERA on the season.
And in conference play, Cole, Hogan's ERA 0.69.
It shows you how important it is, right? High leverage arm, big situation.
Center fielder, number 2.
It's beginning to get late.
Because a 5-run game is still attainable. A 7 or 8-run game, that'd be next to impossible as Ryan Waldschmidt digs in. Already scoring a couple of runs today. And not only has Hogan been dominant in conference play, he's only allowed 1 earned run in the month of May, and that's in 4 outings.
So he's been hot late, and that's great coming into tournament play.
And if anyone could neutralize this Charleston Southern offense, it might be Al Hogan. 2 good pitches there. Remember, Charleston Southern has not trailed this entire tournament. 3 games, 14 runs on Wednesday, 7 yesterday, and 8, if not more, coming today.
It's a 5 seed that's been absolutely dominant.
And Waldschmidt is the one regular season standout, right? All freshman team. Hayden Harris was on the second team all conference, but this is not a lineup littered like Campbell with 8 or 9 all-conference selections. It's a different approach.
But unlike Campbell has done so far, every batting average in this order is on the rise. They're playing as well as possible. 8 runs already.
So now the 1-2. Ooh, good pitch for strike 3. And a first out for Hogan out of the pen.
Big first out, runner on second base. Now with 2 outs, this could be the first chance to put up a scoreless frame as he dots the fastball in the inside corner.
Number 16, Nick Rodriguez.
That reaction tells the story.
It's a great pitch from the lefty. I mean, it starts off the plate in, and with the arm side run, just dives right back over the corner.
So here's Nick Rodriguez. Maybe the hottest hitter in this Big South tournament. 2 more doubles for Rodriguez today. And when you have this type of week like Rodriguez, his average has jumped from 290 to 403 just in this tournament alone. I mean, the hits are contagious and the confidence must be at an all-time level.
It is. These are the times as a hitter you can't wait to get back up. Everything looks like a beach ball. You're seeing spin out of the hand. Your approach just seems to position you so well in every count.
This is a crucial out for USC Upstate. Battling the sun, a little bit of wind, and a catch there by Hamilton. So the first scoreless inning for USC Upstate pitching. We go to the bottom of the 6th here in the Ingles Big South Championships. Charleston Southern leads by 5.
Citywide to countryside. Whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading protection to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe,
heartwarming
it's
story.
8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
Welcome back to Truist Point here in High Point, North Carolina. The host school, High Point, is long gone. The number 1 seed backs against the wall tonight. And how about Charleston Southern, the number 5 seed, off to an amazing start. 2 wins in 2 games, and now have no hit USC Upstate through 5 innings.
It's been impressive in all aspects of the game. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to knock on wood.
Okay.
After speaking that into existence.
I mean, the score bug tells the story. I'm just repeating the facts.
It's one thing to see it on the board. It's another. I pitched. I have the superstitious genes, to say the least. And in what's been a dominant performance, I wouldn't want it to be a jinx from the box that sets in on them.
So John Senziak has stepped up for his club. With the winds howling here in High Point, he has kept up with his storm surge for Charleston Southern. The Buccaneers used the hashtag the ripple effect, or TRE, and this team has taken energy and infectious enthusiasm you see on those shirts back there, and it has rippled all throughout this tournament.
That's a great point, because they talk about it rippling through their team from one guy to the next, but you're right, it's bigger than that. It's rippled to the booth, to the fans. People are talking about this club, and it's become a big deal. They've become a big deal. It's been fun.
Troy Hamilton leads things off for USC Upstate. Now, the one area the Spartans have scored today, 6 walks and a couple hit by batters, or hit by pitches. That's how the offense has come.
How different is this game if they don't?
Well, that allows John Senziak to come in, and he has, until right now, found the zone. A pitcher who had thrown 14 innings entering this tournament, and he's gone 4 innings scoreless. There's always that player who says, "Coach, give me the ball, right? Give me a chance." Well, here's your chance in the Ingles Big South Championship. Not even electric stuff. 87 with the fastball, a little bit of cut. But he is sporting a great result out of the bullpen.
And 90.
Little oomph.
Right past the bat of Hamilton. Look.
As Bill Rafferty would say, onions.
Tournaments, the stuff doesn't matter. It's how bad you want it. Who wants it more is going to be who comes out on top and in a full count.
Goes back to the fastball. We noted that ripple effect for Charleston Southern. Pitchers who were not asked to do much during the season. Hitters like Nick Rodriguez that were struggling all year. Now are playing their best ball here in the tournament.
That's how things work, and you look back to the season, and there's those throwaway games where arms get time to come in, and that's why.
Senziak gets the strikeout.
Big strikeout. You can never be too prepared to come in these situations, but it's so true. Coaches say, we need to get this arm some time here. We need to get this arm some time there, and when everything's on the line in a full count, you execute the fastball for a strikeout.
22 different arms have pitched for Charleston Southern this year. Most college rosters only have 20 pitchers. I mean, it's incredible what's been done as Waldschmidt gets his 5th put out of the game. We asked Coach McMillan, well, Coach, you throw 22 different arms. Why do you do it? And they said, Charleston Southern, we made a decision the first week of the year that every pitcher in our program was going to throw, win, lose, or draw. And it's starting to pay off.
Well, being that deep, there's a lot of arms on these teams that, I guess, Charleston Southern not being one of them, that haven't thrown, that don't have that experience. And when this time comes around, it's an unfair ask of a player to come in and perform. When you're on TV, the stakes are high. People from around the country are watching you. Well, Charleston Southern's prepared for that moment.
The offense has been great. The pitching staff, outside of the second inning, has been untouchable today. And even in a tight pitcher zone, it's clearly John Senziak wanting the ball and ready to go to work.
I can't imagine how low his pitch count would be if that outside corner was just a bit bigger.
Cameron McIntosh, the last chance for Upstate in the 6th. He's down to his final strike. When you're playing in this big of a momentum hole, clearly down 5, part of that too. How do you break the mold? How do you get back into the flow if you're Upstate offensively?
no coach would tell you this, but it's going to take a little extra. It's not just a hit at this point. It's bigger than that. You have to score. It's 8-3. You've stirred up nothing of your own. You need an answer.
So the 1-2. Everyone thought it was strike 3 on the Charleston bench.
They were sold by Mcintosh behind the plate. He sold it. As a catcher, he knows that ball hasn't been called.
It's all about real estate.
All game long.
Location,
but I don't.
Location.
I don't blame him. Try to get it. Work for your pitcher.
He tries the same location here on 2-2. So the count works full. If Senziak gets a strikeout here, you see the energy from Charleston Southern. This may be enough to push the Buccaneers to a win right now.
100%.
An arm that had thrown 14 innings all year until this Big South championship. He looks for 4 2/3 scoreless. And he gets his wish with the strikeout. Unheralded John Senziak, the graduate senior, stepping up for Charleston Southern. The props are everywhere in High Point, North Carolina. And the Buccaneers lead by 5 as we go to the 7th.
So is Campbell. Oh, tomorrow? No, tonight. They both look terrible.
I need one more Sprite before the last game.
I'm going to need a Coke. And I'm going to go hang out outside after this one.
BigSouthSports.com is the source for all your conference information. News, results, and so much more. Plus video on the Big South Network with all stream events free and available on your mobile devices. All this and more at BigSouthSports.com.
Welcome back to the top of the 7th here at the home of the High Point Rockers in High Point, North Carolina. Number 5 seed, Charleston Southern, leading number 2 seed, USC Upstate. The winner of this game, they know their fate. Noon tomorrow with a trip to the NCAA tournament. You lose this game and play tonight against the number 1 seed and a Campbell team that's relatively well-rested. They've used a few arms, but there are pitchers available, and now you have to wonder if you're Upstate in this spot, how you get any momentum today to gear up for tonight's game.
And that's what makes coaching so hard is you never want to quit, you never want to give in, but this one, at some point the writing's going to be on the wall, and do you preserve those arms to give yourself a better chance in a matchup this evening against Campbell, who in large part has had your number a bit over the last year or two when I get everything changes in the tournament, but if you don't win this one tonight is a must win, and you would like to have at least 1 or 2 dependable arms walking into that matchup.
And playing doubleheaders are never an easy task as Hayden Harris takes ball 1. Think back to last year in the Big South. Teams, because of COVID and travel restrictions, played every series with doubleheaders on Saturdays or Sundays. This is sort of the aspect you have to now get back into, playing for your life on Saturday night. This pop-up should be a quick out to start the inning. Oh, it did drift out of play.
Doubleheaders are tough. It's a mental thing at that point. And learning to not let the first game impact game 2 is so important. Whether you win or lose, you have to understand it doesn't matter.
And for the team that loses this game, you then have to win tonight and play 2 tomorrow. So either way, you have to play doubleheader.
Right. I mean, you have to essentially, you're going to have to lose this one and possibly play. And that's devastating coming out of the winner's bracket to the elimination bracket. Baseball players are best served with a short memory.
Here's a line drive. Oh boy, Harris smacks one to left, and it's over the head of Rabin. Now a chance for another double. He's got it. The storm surge continues.
Do they hit singles?
Everything's hit hard.
Everything's hit hard. Everything's hit to the wall. Rabin, I think, would have had a chance at second base if he doesn't slip. That's largely due because of how hard that baseball's hit, the rebound off the wall.
That's 8 extra base hits for Charleston Southern. I mean, when you hit an extra base hit per inning, it's really hard to stop from a pitching staff.
They've started with a double how many times now? And when they have people on, it's extra bases, multiple guys coming in.
And then you factor in some small ball into the equation, and it makes it even tougher. That one was fouled off.
Well, how good of an offense can you execute with a leadoff man on second base? You move him over, hit him in. That makes life so simple for a manager.
Last inning, the 6th, was the lone game that Charleston Southern did not score a run. They've been piling on insurance this entire afternoon. Now can Al Hogan find some holes in this CSU offense? What is the pitch count if you throw in this game? How many pitches would eliminate you from throwing tonight?
Give or take, depending on the arm, 25. So, I mean, some guys you can get up to that 30 range. Some guys aren't going to react well at all.
So 30 is probably the...
30 would be the cap.
Yeah, over 30 you can't pitch tonight. There's a nice bunt, testing Hogan. And again, Charleston Southern is okay with this style. They want to force runners like this at third with one out.
Well, largely due, they've given themselves a 5-run lead. So they have room to get a guy on, move him over, add another one. Upstate, on the other hand, running out of innings. They cannot get a guy on and give away outs because they only have 3 frames left to put up at least 5 in an offense that's showing no letdown.
One of the rare positive coaches meetings where the staff can sit down. That's Damon Lessler, the assistant coach, a former infielder with Cal Baseball, a program that's been resurrected in the Pac-12, and guiding one of his young standouts, Sam Lowe. Okay, so maybe Mark McMillan's going to make a double substitution here.
Usually that's...
Yep, that looks to be the case. So Lowe's day is done. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So Tyrell Brewer will pitch hit, and I think Brewer's going to play the outfield a bit later.
And hitting for the Buccaneers, number 0.
We've seen him a few times already in this tournament.
So now can Brewer do his part and cash in a run? Tyrell hit .305 in conference action. So he was playing well in the Big South. He's come off the bench the last 2 games of the tournament, has a couple of hits, and now awaits Al Hogan's delivery. I mean, if you're a pitcher, that's such a tough miss.
It is, and if you're a pinch runner or a pinch hitter, pardon me, this is a tough job. You come off the bench, runner on third, infield in, you have to find a way to hit a fly ball.
There's your fly ball. Charleston Southern leads the Big South in sacrifice flies, and you can add one more to it. So a 6-run lead here in the 7th.
That's such a good job by Brewer. He makes it look so easy at home. People are thinking, I want the pinch hit job. You get to come in the big moments, but it's so much harder than that. That's pitch recognition and another dugout celebration as Brewer does the big job hitting the sac fly.
Number 3, Conor Carter.
That's team baseball. Get him on, get him over, get him in.
And bringing out a pinch hitter to do it, this is a deep bench of guys that are getting the job done as a unit. They've been worked around and adjusted, put into situations to make themselves successful by a very prepared coaching staff.
We told you that 22 different pitchers have thrown for Charleston Southern. Add to the fact that 19 different players have started a game in Coach Mark McMillan's offense. He has the bag of M&Ms and is just spewing out treats to the Big South Conference.
It's been a treat to watch, I'll tell you that.
Peanut M&Ms, though, the way to go.
Really?
Oh, yeah. A little bit of crunch and substance, too. You more of a sprinkles guy?
I like the peanut butter M&Ms. You had those?
I think we're saying the same thing. Yeah, peanut M&Ms. There's peanut butter in them.
Tomato, tomato? Not so much in this case.
Yeah, I think we could be friends in this conversation. Al Hogan now has to stop this Charleston Southern offense that has scored in all but one inning today. Becoming a buzzsaw in this tournament. 14 runs on Wednesday, 7 yesterday, and 9 more today. And I can't seem to find the hole in this offense if you're an opposing pitcher.
It really hasn't mattered who's been on the mound. They've seen velocity. They've seen slower pitchability guys.
They've seen the pitcher of the year in Thomas Harrington.
And nailed him, took it to him, and attacked Harrington like we haven't seen since he stepped foot on campus at Campbell.
Gave up a season-high 5 runs yesterday.
Lefties, righties, they're on time. That's the key, is they just seem to be on time for everything.
It's crazy how the regular season unfolds. Charleston Southern needed 3 straight wins to jump Gardner-Webb, Winthrop, and Longwood to get to this 5 spot. Now they need 3 more innings to jump to the Big South Finals. What a battle here from Conor Carter, who has one of the 8 extra base hits. He doubled. Al Hogan, the 3rd pitcher for USC Upstate. And his job might be now to quote-unquote take the sword, throw 60 pitches in this game, and save the pen for tonight.
It's a great comparison, because I think you're exactly right. Probably his game to finish, wear the brunt of whatever punches Charleston Southern's going to throw, and just allow the bullpen
You never
to
want to
survive.
surrender, quote-unquote, but there's a smart way to lose, I guess I'm saying.
Well, coaches, there's no coach that'll tell you that they surrendered, but in their mind, they know when they put certain guys out there, that's what's happening.
And with the bullpen empty, as you can see, this is Hogan's inning and maybe a few more to finish.
Right, and Hogan, not a surrender type arm. They're not necessarily throwing in the towel by putting in a pitcher they don't think is a good matchup. This is a guy we think that can last, that can weather the storm a little bit. Could give us a chance, but if not, he can wear the brunt of this outing and get us into the next one in better shape.
So here's the payoff. And a good strikeout for Hogan to end the threat. It's 9-3 Charleston Southern. Upstate needs some offense quickly. We'll see if they can find it after this.
Big things are happening this year across the South, from the mountains to the coast. The fast are getting faster. The strong are getting stronger. And the best is getting better. Get ready to raise your expectations. Get ready for something big. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Big South Sports.
There's over 450 million hoopers out there. One will outscore the country and put Norman on the map. Less than 1% of high school players get a scholarship. Odds a freshman would lead the nation in points and assists. One and never been done. 1.3% of college players get drafted. Only one would drop 48 and 11 in the conference finals. One will know this is just the beginning. Trey had a 1.5 billion chance to get here, but he saw a possibility.
Welcome back to Truist Park. I mean, even the players on the bench are taking selfies and celebrating with the staff. This shows you the camaraderie for Charleston Southern. A few innings away from a trip to the Big South Championship Final. And I think Caleb Hill has the attention of our camera operator. Who's going to win the staring contest? Time now for our Ingles game summary. Okay, Caleb. Oh, he smiled. No, he smiled. We won. We won. Score one for the Big South crew. 3 Charleston pitchers have combined to do something special. Rodriguez, 2 more hits to the plate, and then Sipkowski with the solo home run.
It's been impressive all around. The game summary in large, all Charleston Southern throughout, and that eye contact, he's winning that too.
No, we won.
You won?
I think
He beat me.
I think our camera operator won.
That's fair.
I lost. I blinked right away and laughed, but what a picture-perfect day here in High Point, North Carolina. What a tough matchup for hitters. Shadows right in front of the plate.
This isn't the time to hit, I tell you that.
And when you need 6 runs of a USC Upstate, it's a bad combination. Jeff Taylor, the pitch hitter for Upstate in this spot, 8-9-1. And John Senziak continues to pound his own.
I would send in a few pinch hitters. Nobody's seen it well today. Good idea to get some fresh eyes in there to take a look.
Another fly ball. There's the shortstop, Rodriguez. Whoop. Oh, my gosh. A basket catch. Not the way you draw it up, partner, but it worked.
And I think Carter in left field, Waldschmidt in center need to learn something from that. Infielders, don't let them out into your outfield. They're there for the ground balls.
Now, Campbell Zach Neto would go to the warning track to catch a ball.
Right, but sometimes you just have to protect infielders from themselves. Go in. You have the bigger glove. Make the catch.
Here's Jack Hennessy, who has one of the 7 walks drawn by USC Upstate.
How often do you walk seven hitters?
And that's how the runs have scored.
And have a 9-3 lead.
Walks and hit by pitches. Well, there's a donut in one of the departments on the scoreboard, if you know what I'm saying. All because of the presence of John Senziak, Jerry Couch, and Chandler Woolridge combining to pitch a really good start.
Sometimes those staff days can be the toughest days to get a hit. It's often overlooked, but it doesn't give a lineup a chance to settle in against one arm when you know there may be a flurry of arms from both sides, right, left-handed, and a ton of different looks that you see. It can be tough not to be able to come through the lineup and see the same arm 2, 3, 4 times.
What a snag by Senziak. And the pitcher helping his own guys.
And picking up on what you may have put down earlier, that may have preserved a very big part of this game. And I won't mention more than that, but that ball's going to the outfield if it gets by Senziak.
There's always a moment in a game like this where somebody makes something happen.
One play to keep a certain thing on the line.
We thought it was the Waldschmidt catch against the wall. Well, that's another part of the equation. And here's Devin Buckner with 2 outs. Okay, when does Senziak actually set on the mound?
He doesn't have to.
With nobody on?
With nobody on, he does not have to come set, and you'll actually see relievers oftentimes use that to their advantage to become more.
Because Bartolo Colon may have invented the idea of jostling around the rubber, right? Throwing the timing off.
He can actually bounce around. There's pitchers that pitch out of a traditional set position with nobody on, and they'll intentionally, at times, roll right through their set to try to speed up the hitter, and in return they'll throw a changeup to slow him back down.
And then when he comes to the plate, pounds in a strike.
That might have been the pitch to hit this at bat.
Top of the order for USC Upstate, an offense that led the Big South, hitting .300 during the regular season. Not many answers tonight. This fly ball should end the inning. To guess who? Ryan Waldschmidt with his 6th outfield catch of the night. So through 7 innings, Charleston Southern putting together a special start to this winner's bracket final. The Buccaneers lead by 6. Oh, no, 5-3. 5-3. The third,
Ingles. Ingles Markets is a proud sponsor of Big South From ice cold beverages to platters of amazing food, you in for that road trip. Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Here's the numbers that tell the story of the winners bracket final here in the Big South Conference Championships. Charleston Southern overcame a 3-run frame where Upstate did not hit the ball and have since scored plenty of insurance runs to lead by 6.
Offense has been the story, and there's always a column in the stat line you want to zero in, and that's the error column. They've taken care of the ball on defense when they've been given opportunities.
That's what makes this Charleston Southern team dangerous. The pitching staff was not great today by any means. And yet, John Senziak has settled things down, and now a club that's 2 innings away from a trip to tomorrow's championship.
Full steam ahead, and
oh, here we go.
We got another battle on our hands.
A little refreshment for Caleb Hill. Oh, you got a teammate there down there too. Who's going to break character first? Oh, he's getting bombarded.
A little bit of friendly fire, but
I like this. You got some teammates behind him.
Well, it's everything they've done since coming into this tournament.
Oh, wait, is it Coach Izzio? Oh, it's Coach Izzio in the background, the pitching coach. I mean, the way his staff's thrown today, why not? Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah. Oh, he lost it. Oh, he couldn't hold it. But I love the effort.
I love how much fun they have in the dugout.
Yeah. That's a team that's fun to watch. So, A.J. Sipkowski and this energized, enthused dugout lead things off in the 8th. A number 5 seed has not won the Big South Conference since 2013. I'd be hard-pressed to see why Charleston Southern could not win the title tomorrow.
They're the favorite to win it. If they get through this one, you really think you're going to hold this offense down for 2 consecutive games?
In back-to-back games.
I'd say otherwise.
Campbell and Upstate are the lone teams left in this tournament. Now, they were the 2 best teams by head and shoulders above the rest. So the talent is there. But this team and the Buccaneer jerseys are playing like the best team in the conference.
They are, and let's not forget, they took it to Thomas Harrington, the biggest draft prospect in the conference.
A Golden Spikes Award semifinals. That's the best pitcher in college baseball. He was one of 30 players on that list.
To even be in that conversation, absurd. Charleston Southern steps in, takes it to him, attacks him in a game I think most thought would be on cruise control for Campbell. And Campbell's aware of that as well. Campbell put their best foot forward, their best guy on the mound, got punched in the mouth.
They held off Campbell 7-6 in the 9th inning and have led from the jump. Never trailed in this tournament, in fact, which is hard to fathom through 3 games. As that ground ball is scooped up and then bobbled, resulting in an error. So Hamilton with the mistake, and a leadoff man on, and A.J. Sipkowski.
It's getting to the point where maybe Charleston Southern, they just start with the runner on first because it seems like it happens every inning. This time not a double, a little bit of self-inflicted damage from the shortstop. Hamilton not able to field it cleanly, the throw not in time as Sipkowski's digging down the first base line.
This is the 5th time a leadoff man has reached for Charleston Southern. The first 4 have scored. So to your point, when they get on, they're most likely getting in.
Well, let's not break it up now.
And keep the streak rolling. Hogan's around that magic number you mentioned, nearing 30 pitches. This is tough because if you're Mike McGuire, I don't think his team can score 6 runs in 2 innings.
I agree.
Which means now you have to, with Izzio hitting at the plate, you have to consider who do I throw next, how many arms do I throw, and how do I preserve arms for tonight?
Well, and if we're being honest, Hogan would not have a huge impact in tonight's game, most likely if they were to bring him back. And when I say a huge impact, I mean innings-wise. Getting up twice in a day, yes, it's doable. It doesn't feel great at times, but he's only available if he were to come back. It doesn't look like he will be for one inning at most. So if you're able to preserve an arm from having to get hot and come into a game, that in itself could buy you 3 to 4 innings in later's game, and that could be a bigger impact.
There's a stolen base attempt, and who needs the bunt on the steal from A.J. Sipkowski? I mean, this Charleston Southern team is doing everything right.
They are, and just taking Hogan's attention off of Sipkowski with Izzio squared around a bunt, and Sipkowski runs first move right in his face. I'm surprised to see that lack of focus.
So with Buckner now behind the plate, he gives up the stolen base. And another bunt. I mean, this is fundamental baseball. Get him on, get him over,
Get
and
him
possibly get him in.
Well, they've been getting him in. I don't expect that to change now. You use your 3-hole guy for a sacrifice bunt. That's not Pac-12 style baseball. That's Big West style baseball.
Who has a home run and a double today. And look at the embrace from the teammates.
That's a team at bat. That's a team-minded approach.
They have a third down yard marker.
Why not?
And a chain game. I mean, they got everything in the dugout. T-shirts.
How long does it take them to pack up for a road trip?
Yeah. How many buses does it take to pack Charleston Southern is the real question. Because the props are at an all-time high. And this sac fly will bring in another run. Charleston Southern is doing everything right. That's a 10 spot on the board as A.J. Sipkowski scores.
This is clockwork. Get him on, bunt him over, sac fly, repeat. Now with 2 outs.
Charleston Southern has 35 sacrifice flies this year. It's a strength of the Buccaneers.
It's a great strength to have. Preserves your batting average. Hitter's best friend.
Gets RBIs.
Dugout celebrates with you. You're 0 for 0 with an RBI in that at bat. Why not?
10 runs on 12 hits for Charleston Southern. Now this is a statement in the winner's bracket final.
3 statements.
Scoring 14 on the host in High Point, who went home 0-2, so a tough week for the High Point Panthers. Sent Campbell to the elimination bracket, and now sent Upstate right down there with him.
I don't know. You don't want to see him tomorrow.
And now the conversation shifts to how, if you're Charleston Southern, do you keep this momentum going tomorrow on the national stage of an ESPN televised game?
Well, you get out of your own way at the plate. Just allow the guys to keep going up there and executing. Look, it looks easy. They're doing a job that, in large part, is very difficult.
How about this? That's just foul.
But you just get out of the way. Pitching-wise, I think would be my only concern. They're deep into this thing. All hands on deck. Will they have the pitching? I know they should be able to get through 1 game, but 2 is a big ask of a pitching staff.
Charleston Southern has used 5 of its top 6 arms to get to this point, and probably 4 of those arms will not pitch on Saturday. As the count works even to Ryan Waldschmidt. The challenge is, if any of these teams, Upstate or Campbell, can force the decisive game,
right,
the second game on Saturday, then I think it gets wide open to who can win this thing.
I would agree.
Because there's a lot of unproven arms for both clubs. What a snag at short. Troy Hamilton robs a hit from Ryan Waldschmidt. That was pretty. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. Speaking of hits, Upstate needs a few of those. Trailing 10-3 in spite of great defense from the Spartans.
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the right way to film it is in slow motion. Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Big things are happening this year across the South, from the mountains to the coast. The fast are getting faster. The strong are getting stronger. And the best is getting better. Get ready to raise your expectations. Get ready for something big. Ingles, a proud sponsor of Big South Sports.
The right way to top a sub is with real red wine vinegar made from red grapes and no food coloring. And the right way to film it is in slow motion. Obviously. Because authentic ingredients make a sub above.
Welcome back to the Ingles Big South Championships. Charleston Southern's on the verge of heading to the championship final tomorrow with a chance to get to the NCAA tournament because of great hitting, great pitching, and then overall great defense for the Buccaneers.
It's been great in all three aspects, but maybe no play bigger than this one with everything on the line, the tag, and throw across for the double play.
That's the strong move of the game, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength. Upstate was down just one at that point in the game. It was back in the second inning. And then once that stop happened, Charleston Southern unfolded for the win.
They did. They found a way to put up zeros. That's what's happened since.
That's the strong move of the game, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength. Because that strong move clearly set up Charleston Southern to go for it and then take advantage offensively. Here's an opposite field swing. This could be trouble. And with one swing of the bat, Upstate, its first hit of the game. All the way in the 8th inning. Noah Myers with the Oppo Taco.
Well, it's refreshing that the ice has been broken. Now we can speak about it. And what a swing. One swing, one run. Backside with the wind blowing out. A great job of elevating, driving, using the entire field.
Well, that lifts a big elephant in the room out of here, because a much-needed hit for USC Upstate.
Is it enough to inspire a late inning comeback? Not much left in this game. 6 outs remaining.
On the next pitch, Noah Rabin flies out to center, and quickly that momentum may have been quieted. What a performance from John Senziak. He had thrown 14 innings all year until this start, and now he's at 6 exact innings, and the one hit's been it.
He's been great. The one hit, no big deal. If you have a 10-3 lead, you challenge the strike zone, you deal with the consequences. It's only self-inflicted damage that's going to lead to big innings that could really affect you late in this one.
And that's what makes this run special. Charleston Southern has leaned on a pitcher that has hardly been used all year, a grad senior. And here comes what has become one of the best performances of the Big South tournament. Senziak with 6 innings of 1 hit and 1 run ball.
To throw that little innings in the regular season and to come in and grab the baseball, ever since he's taken it, he's acted like it's his game. And it has been. In large part, he's the solidifying factor that stabilized this game out for Charleston Southern.
Especially when you consider that this pitching staff for CSU had not been elite all year long. Evan Truitt, fantastic on Wednesday. A combination of Hill and Patty Zach, and then today, it's Senziak's turn. A lot of C's and Z's and S's in this staff, but they're working the alphabet just right.
And looking to add a K?
Yeah, K for strikeout.
It's the most creativity I have. I've been impressed.
Let's see what Senziak has drawn up here on 2-2. It's like watching an artist go to work, just weaving and bobbing on the mound. Now for the encore on his own rhythm. Oh, the two-seamer got him for the strikeout. 4 Ks for Senziak.
Well, you talk about his rhythm. He's been in rhythm since he stepped on the mound, and that time the rhythm was extended as he shook and shook and then sneaks the fastball in. As a hitter, that's a moment where probably a good idea to call time, try to break up this flow of Cynziak.
Okay, time is called there by Troy Hamilton. I was surprised that Noah Sullivan, waited for Cynziak. Like, he waited 20 seconds.
Right. Call time, break up the rhythm. The further you allow him to get into this bob and this flow where it's confidence, the better he's going to get. You have to break it up and see if that could cause you to get ahead in a count.
This is a new season high in innings and his career best effort at Charleston Southern. We mentioned a transfer from Spartanburg Methodist 3 years ago. Has grown with this program. Coach McMillan was one of the first arms he leaned on when he came to the program and said, how do I build culture? John Cynziak, the fifth-year senior, has been through multiple coaching staffs and is now having his one shining moment.
And it's impressive to be able to ebb and flow with different heads of the program, finding your way in culture that can often vary from staff to staff, but to be a rock and a mainstay says a lot about him and his character.
He's one strike away from what would be a fantastic outing. And with bullpen arms warming, I think this will be the final inning for John Cynziak. He has done everything right. Gave up his first hit here in the eighth, otherwise unblemished. Good take by Hamilton.
It's a good pitch. Slider starts it just off. Not quite believable enough to induce the swing, but should be enough to set up a quality pitch with a full count.
Saw Connor Yoder in the bullpen. And Cynziak could be his final stand. There's a line drive that sneaks out of the park. Hopefully I parked my RAV4 far enough away. The ball had some legs on it. We have seen some impressive runs in the Big South tournaments over the years. Maybe none better than number 5 seed Charleston Southern, riding John Cynziak. And these are the type of outings you need as an upstart team, any team, honestly, to go deep into a tournament.
It's all about how you get started. If you position yourself well, it really opens doors and enables you to get deeper into the tournament by playing through that winner's bracket, preserving as many arms as you can, and building the excitement.
With a strikeout, John Cynziak, have yourself a day. 6 2/3 of one-run baseball. Putting on a show for the Buccaneers with the strikeout, and Charleston Southern 1 inning from a trip to the finals.
Attention fans, field access is restricted following the conclusion of the game. Fans are not permitted on the field and must exit the facility from the main entrance. Please do not approach the field for the safety of the student athletes and coaches.
Ingles and the Big South, thank you, the fans, for watching. Ingles and the Big South, thank you, the fans, for watching this year's Ingles Big South Championships. Remember, we have more to come from High Point, North Carolina. Tonight, Campbell faces what looks to be USC Upstate. The winner of that game will take on Charleston Southern. If things continue in this direction, because that's what's ahead in the Ingles Big South Championship. Okay, if you're Charleston Southern, who would you rather play, USC Upstate or Campbell in the final?
I think at this point you want to run it right back as soon as you can with USC Upstate. You're seeing them well. This game will be fresh in their mind. It's been brutal. It's not a game that's easy to forget. One hit, a couple of errors. It's been sloppy baseball in large from the Upstate team, and you want to beat them again as soon as you can.
One hit for USC Upstate today. Was a big one, of course, the home run last inning. And Al Hogan, who now seems to be a non-factor in tonight's elimination game, will face Nick Rodriguez in the middle of this Charleston Southern offense. I mean, to have 2 doubles is one thing. 2 of the 8 extra base hits for Charleston Southern. A team that during the regular season was in the bottom half of the league in scoring and extra base hits. This was not a team that was going to knock the ball over the park.
But now they've seen that it can be done. They have the talent to execute at a high level. Rodriguez 2 for 3 on the day, and now in a 2-0 count, in position to drive another ball as he fouls that one off. It's just been a collective approach from the offense, and I think when you look back at the regular season versus this season, you see the approach is the difference. Obviously, these guys haven't gotten insanely better talent-wise overnight. This is a mentality that they've brought into the ballpark in working their way pitch to pitch, at bat to at bat, that's positioned them so well.
Because now if you're Charleston Southern, you have the advantage of closing out this game, of course, but then watching Upstate and Campbell battle what could be a multiple pitcher, long game, high scoring affair to then face your opponent tomorrow.
If you're Charleston Southern, you're hoping that when that game starts this evening at 7 o'clock, possibly a touch after.
Yeah, it will be a touch after now.
Upstate, Campbell, you want that to be a slugfest. You want them to beat each other up.
Good scoop by Hamilton, but the throw gets away, and that's the 5th error for USC Upstate. That's hard to overcome mentally when you have to play in 45 minutes.
It plays pretty tough in the mind, and the shortstop, Hamilton, yes, the error's on the throw, but if you want to break that play down in more depth, the error is on how he fields that baseball. It's the in-between hop, not able to get the grip on the ball because he's uncomfortable with his footwork, leading to the double clutch and the sail up the line. He's had some trouble adjusting to the bounciness of this turf. The hops are a little bit bigger, and in return, that last hop's getting just a bit deep on him.
And then how much of a factor with his defense is sort of the mental hurdles of falling behind and watching the other team start to pull away.
Defense is tough in a game like this where essentially it's been 3 up, 3 down a lot of the game. You haven't spent a ton of time in the dugout. The game just feels like it's flown by. You've been on defense. You've been on defense.
And then you watch Charleston Southern score 10 runs.
It's tough. There's been no fluidity and rhythm to it for the defenders.
You see Kevin Davis warming up in the bullpen for Upstate. He's one of the big relievers, which I imagine he won't pitch in this game unless you're gearing him up to pitch as the starter tonight.
It's too early for that. Barring a miracle,
I just don't know how you expect to score 6 runs if you're Upstate. You want to play to win.
You want to be prepared. I understand that, so maybe just have him playing very, very light toss, but to even see him standing is shocking.
Because Hogan's not going to pitch tonight. He's thrown enough where you probably wouldn't throw him out there for an inning or 2 tonight.
If Hogan does anything tonight.
Because Matheny will not pitch tonight. Curry will not pitch tonight.
You might see some of those guys getting some foul poles in between games just to try to get some of the lactic acid out, flush the arm, but that's about the most you're going to see from them.
And this pop-up will stay on the infield. You just can never assume with the wind blowing out today as Collison snatches it. Cole, you played both outfield and first base in your career. How do you anticipate or prepare when you know the wind's blowing like this?
You have to err on the side that you think it may be impacted by. So if it's blowing out, you want to give yourself a couple extra steps behind the baseball and so on and so forth, depending on the wind direction.
So how about this? Kevin Davis will enter out of the USC Upstate bullpen. And Al Hogan, his night is done. And I think he will not pitch tonight either. So you've lost Hogan, who did a nice job bridging the gap, 3 innings of 2 runs. And now you lean on Kevin Davis. He'll enter for the rest of the 9th, and we return on ESPN Plus. So this is a decision that Mike McGuire's made in the 9th inning, to bring in Kevin Davis, the Orland Park, Illinois product, who has 32 innings out of the bullpen, a reigning all-conference reliever in 2021. Maybe not the same caliber of numbers, but definitely a high-leverage reliever who's now asked to finish out the 9th inning.
It just goes to show you the state of the bullpen and what they're trying to set up as they see that they're going to go most likely through the elimination bracket later this evening. And at times it's who do you trust, and there's a lot of moving pieces, but if you burn a bullpen arm that's maybe a short outing type of guy, we haven't seen super extended outings from Davis.
Well, this is where I don't necessarily understand the Davis move, because he is the Swiss Army knife, according to Coach Mike McGuire, of this bullpen. So if you use the Swiss Army knife in the 9th, I don't know how fresh he'll be for the game that's coming up later tonight.
Agreed. I think they can keep the pitch count low, but maybe there's a guy or two in there that they're banking on for extended outings that if they get hot, that all of a sudden is no longer applicable in the later game.
Good piece there from Conor Aldridge. Davis last year, a 1.57 ERA. So with 40 strikeouts, he was dominant. This year, he's been asked to pitch 2 innings plus in 7 straight outings. So it's a long relief role. A little different than what he was asked to do last year as the true closer.
It's tough. Some people react better to that role. We've seen kind of the extended relief become a bigger option for teams nowadays, as true closers are hard to come by, as well as deep bullpens. So you ask guys to get more outs.
So there's the second out as he punches down Conor Aldridge.
Great pitch, fastball in the corner. You can see why he's dominant. I mean, it's electric stuff in the mid-90s.
At 6'9".
He's almost letting go of that baseball on your front hip. It must get on you in a hurry.
Bench hitting, number 33, Hayden Mills.
So Peyton Mills comes in off the bench. He'll slide into that Tyrell Brewer spot. This is the only inning I can think of where Charleston Southern did not bunt, manufacture, move him over, move him in like they've done all day. 10 runs on 12 hits for CSU. They have benefited from 5 errors from Upstate, I will admit. But overall dominant offensively.
The errors have been there, without a doubt, and they're still not the story of the day. The offense is still the story of the day. With 12 hits, 10 runs, you've done enough offensively to position yourself to win a game.
Good piece there to fight it off. And that's the challenge you face if you're USC Upstate. You have to manage arms for this game. And now in the ninth inning, we can say it. You have to get yourself mentally prepared in about an hour to play Campbell for your life tonight.
It's a quick turnaround. I'm not sure how you get there or re-inspire confidence and energy, but it's deadly quiet on the Upstate side.
This is playable, and it drops fair. Whoa, that snuck into the corner. Past Myers, another run comes in. And how about this? The 9th extra base hit for Charleston Southern makes it 11-4.
That one definitely shocking everyone. Looking foul off the bat. I think everybody on the Upstate side thought it was foul, but today the ball's found a way to drop for Charleston Southern. This ball fading towards the line, the sliding effort from Myers. And
yeah, that looks fair.
I think it is.
Well, we talked about not manufacturing runs. That's been erased.
They found a way. They put their one on the board.
So Rodriguez comes in. Okay, we're going to challenge this call. Umpire-initiated challenge. So we'll show you all the angles we just showed you. And correct me if I'm wrong, Cole. If his body's in fair territory and he touches the ball, even if the ball's foul, then the ball's fair, right?
I believe it's fair.
From what I recall. Let's see.
Looks a little closer that time around.
Yeah. I mean, but it has to clearly be outside the white line. If it touches any part of the line, it's a fair ball.
It looks like it lands right on the line as we go back through it.
Yeah, this is going to be the best angle, too.
It's at least half on that line, it would appear.
Well, in this case, it's the rule of if any part of the ball touches the white, it's fair.
Right.
So to me, that's a fair ball.
We're in agreement.
And that's also really hard to overturn, with that being the only angle.
If this holds, I'll tell you what is impressive, and that's Charleston Southern scoring in 8 out of the 9 frames that they've come to bat.
The only one quiet was the 6th.
That is a crazy statistic.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I think it holds, and I think it's an 8 out of 9.
I like Damon Maynard there, just checking. Okay, just to clarify, that is called a fair
Correct.
ball. Yeah. The call stands. Okay, so Charleston Southern's going to bring in a pitch runner. This can get complicated at times, so just going it all over as Peyton Basler comes in to run. Look at that celebration. This is a team that knows it's destined for the Big South Championship final.
Number 3, Conor Carter.
The chemistry they have, pretty special.
Elite. It's plus. I know coaches use tools to describe things like this, but man, what a fun team to watch. A Charleston Southern team that was swept by USC Upstate, and I mean blown out of the water when these teams met. A little different story today. There's Basler checking in. Much to Mark McMillan's form, these teams have emptied the benches today, and that's what you expect with Charleston Southern. Ow.
Yes.
Thanks.
94, barreled up, straight off the foot.
No bueno. I don't know if there's a good place to get hit by foul balls, at least that I know of. But off the ankle wouldn't seem fun.
No. Carter actually has the shin guard on, just not wearing the shoe piece of it.
Seems counterintuitive. And a strikeout for Davis ends the ninth. Charleston Southern has scored in 8 of 9 innings today. Now we look to decide who's heading to the championship final. Upstate down to its final 3 outs.
There's over 450 million hoopers out there. One will outscore the country and put Norman on the map. Less than 1% of high school players get a scholarship. Odds of freshmen would lead the nation in points and assists. One ain't never been done. 1.3% of college players get drafted. Only one would drop 48 and 11 in the conference finals. One will know this is just the beginning. Trey had a 1.5 billion chance to get here, but he saw a possibility.
There's not a secret to what actually happens behind the scenes at a bank. Here at First Citizens, we're trying to educate the client in each step of what's actually going to happen and actually have them make the educated decision around what steps and what options they utilize. We want to become that trusted advisor that actually guides them down that road, helping you reach your goals. That's Forever First.
Welcome back to High Point, North Carolina. Final half inning for USC Upstate. And Cole, we've talked about it a ton on this broadcast, but Upstate now has to climb the mental hurdle of, unless something crazy happens in this inning, they play for their lives in about an hour against Campbell.
Coming off arguably their worst performance of the year, are they going to be able to shake it? It looks like we're going to be able to find out. We're going to stick around, but you have to find a way to get some hits, right? Some barrels, build some confidence in that offense. That's the part of this that's hardest to turn around. You can throw out a new arm that can find 5 shutout innings. You can replace a shortstop or get a couple ground balls in between games and turn that part of it around. But it's so hard to find a way to see the baseball better. And so far tonight, they have not been able to figure it out.
Charleston Southern is 3 outs away from being the first team since 2013 as a 5 seed to get back to the finals. They'll play tomorrow at noon for a conference championship. This might be the first out right here. And there it is, line drive from Cullison out to center. How about the effort of John Senziak, by the way? 7 innings, that was half of his season's production today.
If you're gonna make a run, it takes a Senziak to do it. You need someone to step up that maybe hasn't gotten the opportunities in the regular season, maybe it's just coming off of injury. You need that guy to play a huge role. Senziak has been the staple in this one.
So now it's Cameron McIntosh. Heads up, they might hit us in the booth. Here at Truist Point in High Point, North Carolina. The winner is on the championship Saturday. That looks to be Charleston Southern. I mean, to Senziak's credit, he had thrown no more than 2 innings all year in an outing, and here he is looking to throw 7+ in one of the last games of the year.
A third of his innings this year have been in this game.
And we talk about these unheralded heroes, right? Stepping up in the biggest moments. This was not part of Senziak's equation, and then he turns it on and just keeps rolling.
Well, his teammates put him in a good position, and that's so big a part of baseball, is stepping up when given that opportunity. His boys had his back offensively. Made it a fun day to be a pitcher.
Over his glove. Oh, what a nice snag. No way. Just a bit late. Love the effort, though, by Rodriguez, who's moved to second base. Bachelor's now the shortstop defensively, but man, even on a base hit, it's pretty cool to watch.
Send a message to the entire conference, everybody watching. Look, this is a team that leaves it all out on the field to the last out. Rodriguez, such a shining example of that.
Only the second hit for USC Upstate. A very weird and confusing scoreline. 4 runs, 2 hits, 5 errors. Most times you say, hey, 5 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors, and we're good. Not the other way around.
This is a bad tournament to be a favorite in.
You're not kidding.
It's been tough pickings.
Tonight, the 1 seed Campbell and the 2 seed Upstate will be playing for their lives. Someone's going to have to win that game and then face Charleston Southern tomorrow. Love the effort from Izzio there. I mean, you have to be infectious, right? When you're playing with this type of lead, winning this many games in a row, how could you not play full engage, 100%, give everything you got?
Oh, you have to, and it makes you think if a team like Campbell goes on a run, it's expected. There's not going to be as much natural excitement because you're expected to win. If you sneak in as a 5 seed in Charleston Southern, none of this was expected. It's a ton of fun. There's no pressure on them. When you look in the dugout, it's stress-free. It's a ton of fun. Guys playing loose has been the recipe.
Oh, I thought he was going to get that strike. Senziak has punched out 5. I will give Travis Godek credit. That zone has stayed the same.
It hasn't budged an inch. There is no outside corner today.
It's like filing your taxes. You get no breaks, no refunds. You got to follow the rules. Sometimes you wish you get some, maybe they mishandled the money. Oh, there's another strikeout. 6 Ks for John Senziak.
He's been electric. Fun to watch. In great command since he stepped on the mound. Back-to-back fastballs right there. That one adjusted just over a touch, inducing the swing to pick up the strikeout.
So the stat line is amazing. The 2 hits came in the last 2 innings. The previous 2 pitchers had walked 6 and hit 2, and then Senziak is nearly perfect.
Well, the biggest stat, in my opinion, is the 0 walks.
This might end the game right here, or it might not.
And that's a turf hop. Not a bad bunt on a fair, not on a fair, pardon me, on a natural playing surface. That ball, I believe, stays fair, but this surface overly receptive, almost bounces 90 degrees towards that foul line. And
it's like going to one of those indoor playgrounds. Everything bounces, it moves around. It's, you know, not as firm as you'd think, but yet hard to play. Let's see what Sendiak has in the bag. He has been amazing today. 7 1/3 of 1-run baseball. 1 pitch away from the finals. He could throw like 15 innings today.
Send him back out. If they had another one, I think you send him back out, right? I mean,
the grad senior having the day of his life in a Charleston Southern uniform, leading by 7, searching for a 3-0 start in the Big South Championships. That is foul. We talked about the props and the energy in this Charleston Southern bench. They have brought the juice. They have the ripple effect. And now they have the game changer in John Senziak.
Game changer, great word. He did change this game after an inning's worth of free passes. He's been the stopper.
It was 4-3 entering the 3rd, and Charleston Southern has taken over in this winner's bracket final. Jack Hennessy continues to fight off pitches, and Senziak is 1 pitch away from really changing the whole perspective of this tournament, moving the 5 seed into the championship final.
You're exactly right. The only negative I see for Charleston Southern is that he's not going to be available tomorrow on Championship Saturday.
Mark McMillan, his club has been red hot. Won 3 straight series to get into the tournament. Now looking to win 3 straight games here in the Ingles Big South Championship. And it was never in doubt. Maybe the second inning when it was 4-3 and Upstate had walked its way into a few runs, but ever since, Charleston Southern has dominated this game.
And even at that point, I think we still knew this offense was going to perform. They weren't done. They were going to continue adding. Would the pitching be able to stop? I think the answer is yes.
During the April 14th through 16th series, Upstate swept the Buccaneers. Ever since, Charleston Southern has gone 9-2 against Big South foes. And here they sit in a great spot, 2-0 in the tournament. Looking to wrap this one up and move along. So here's the 2-2 to Hennessy. Pack your bags for Big South Championship Saturday. The Buccaneers, with their ripple effect, have made a storm surge in this tournament with an 11-4 win.
They are an absolute statement in every aspect of the game, playing their best baseball. And today, Sinziak, the key, the MVP. I'd be surprised not to see him not wearing that shirt tomorrow.
The first trip to the Big South Conference Finals since 2000 for Charleston Southern. 22 years in the making, and the number 5 seed shocks Upstate 11-4. For Kohallam, I'm Evan Budrovich. This is a presentation of ESPN. The Charleston Southern Buccaneers are heading to Championship Saturday with an 11-4 win.
Charleston Southern advances to tomorrow's conference championship game. USC Upstate will play in this evening's elimination game against top-seeded Camden.
It's all right.